heartbreak at the end of the line. But their tenacity reflects the style of head coach Jerry Claiborne and has earned Kentucky a measure of respect from the entire conference. As Auburn, LSU, and Alabama will confirm, the Wildcats can spoil any party. Live from Lexington, Kentucky, TBS Sports continues its 5th season of SEC football coverage. Today, the 11th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs are out to hang on to the top spot in the SEC as they take on upset-minded Kentucky Wildcats. Hello, everybody. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal welcoming you to Lexington, Kentucky. It's a chilly day here in Lexington. Been raining the last couple of days. The rain has stopped. We're going to have some sunshine, partly cloudy skies today. Should be in the mid-50s for kickoff, but my buddy from Miami here is wearing his heavy top coat. The Georgia Bulldogs will be glad to know that this natural turf field has been covered and the condition is very good. For Kentucky's run-oriented defense, Tim, that could even be bad news, though, because, of course, Georgia has the great running game spearheaded by Tim Worley. Good matchup. Run-oriented defense, Georgia's running game.
Georgia's got 4 running backs that have a career average over 5.5 yards a carry, but the Kentucky defense is a gutty defense. They've played well enough to win this year. They've been foiled in several great upset attempts, but this could be the day for them. They have not lost their confidence. They feel like they've been thwarted in efforts where they performed well enough to win, and they want to start now winning.
Well, they've played some great teams, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and now Georgia. And let's talk a little bit about that Kentucky offensive football team. They call it the run-and-shoot offense this year. Georgia's a little bit vulnerable to the passing game.
Yeah, Kentucky is very thin up front in the offensive line, and they've been a big play offense. Glenn Ford can fire it down the field. They've got 2 wide receivers that can really cover some ground, and they've got probably their deeper at running back than they've ever been. 3 good running backs that can carry the load.
Most people think Kentucky might have upset LSU last week had it not been for a breakdown of the Kentucky punting game. They're changing punters this week. They've worked on the punt protection. We'll see if that improves for the Kentucky Wildcats. We'll be back here for the starting lineups and the kickoff, but right now let's go back to our studios in Atlanta. Craig Sager and the Old Milwaukee Insider Report.
Thank you, Bob and Tim. This is the inside word on college football. If your goal is to be home at Christmas, then UTEP would be a good place to play. The Miners have never been outside of El Paso for a bowl game, and 21 years after their last appearance in the Sun Bowl, the business community of El Paso is pressuring the Sun for return invitation. Now, the Sun Bowl would prefer a ranked team, but may be forced to take the once-beaten Miners. The list of undefeated Division I teams is down to 7. There's still plenty of football remaining. However, it's already been a very successful season for Indiana and Wyoming, both having their best season since 1967. Southern Cal is also unbeaten and untied to this point for the first time since 1975. At the other end of the spectrum, 8 winless teams, among them Miami of Ohio, North Carolina, and Tennessee, off to their worst starts in history. If you want an exercise in futility, try today's matchup between winless Wisconsin and winless Northwestern, or the November 5th showdown between Kansas and Kansas State. Hats off to the Pac-10. We're past the halfway mark, and not a single team in the Pac-10 has a losing record. Its non-conference mark, 24-4. I'll see you at halftime. Stay tuned for the opening kickoff between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Kentucky Wildcats.
The Old Milwaukee Insider Report has been brought to you by Old Milwaukee Beer and Old Milwaukee Light, 2 of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this.
Kickoff here, playing by Old Kentucky Home. Let's just listen. For football at Commonwealth Stadium here in Lexington. I misled my friend Tim Foley with the temperature report on our open. Tim, you're gonna hate this. It's not in the mid-50s. 48 degrees, the official reading. So you have a right to be trembling just a little bit here this morning. It's, however, going to be partly cloudy and get up to in the mid-50s today. And the series between these 2 teams, Georgia holds a 37-7-2 lead in the series. It dates back to 1939. Bulldogs won 10 straight. The last meeting, last year in a game televised here on TBS, Georgia beat Kentucky 17-14, coming from behind. The Georgia Bulldogs, 5-1, 4-0, and in first first place in the Southeastern Conference, led onto the field by their head coach, Vince Dooley, the dean of SEC football coaches, celebrating his 25th season in Athens. Dooley has led Georgia to 6 conference championships, and today they bring their running game to Lexington. The field is in good shape despite 2 days of hard rain here in central Kentucky, so the ground should be in pretty good shape for that Kentucky running game. But they'll have to go against the Kentucky Wildcats with that wide tackle 6, 8-man front. A very gritty, tough defense to run against. The Wildcats are 2-4 overall, 0-3 in the league. Their losses in the league came to Auburn, Alabama, and LSU, and Jerry Claiborne is the head coach. He's a graduate of Kentucky back in 1950, where he played under Bear Bryant. He's in his 7th season as the Wildcat head coach, and he's got this team improving despite the 2-4 record. It should be a close and good ball game here today in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll be back with the lineups and the kickoff right after this. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
Like you, we're judged by results. The Underwriters Group.
I never looked at professional football as a popularity contest. I look at it as my job. I don't care that my opponents like me. I care that they respect me, though.
Come on! Some people like to play rougher than others. For them, we offer the Nissan Pathfinder and hard body truck, and a free NFL Tough Guys video with a Pathfinder or hard body test drive. See your nearest Nissan dealer if you think you're ready to play.
There's nothing in this great big world, nothing that ever will come close to the sound of a WD brand steak cooking on the grill. When it sizzles, oh, it almost drives you out of your mind. Don't even think about it. Oh, there's nothing like the taste of a big juicy steak, the WD brand kind. You know you're gonna get a bite.
After only 6 episodes, Beyond Tomorrow has already captivated millions. Join us on the only show that offers you a preview of life in the 1990s and beyond. People magazine says, what a concept, grade A. Tonight, see the products that are being readied for your use just beyond tomorrow.
By Quaker State Motor Oil with QSX for the maximum protection against sludge. By Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick. By Holiday Inn Hotels. There's no better way to take a time out. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Kentucky won the toss, will defer their kickoff reception until the second half, so Georgia will have a chance to get that running game on track here as Georgia will receive, and their deep backs are Brian Cleveland, 37, and Keith Henderson, number 30. Henderson has 6 returns, averaging 21 yards. Cleveland, 4, averaging 23 yards. Number 9 is Ken Willis, the junior from Owensboro. The kicker for Kentucky had a good game kicking against LSU last week. This one's underway. From the 3-yard line, that's Keith Henderson. All the way to the 41-yard line for Keith Henderson. He was hit by number 6, Tony Massey, a 39-yard kickoff return. They'll spot that ball back at the 40. And here comes Wayne Johnson. He is completing 62% of his passes, but has thrown for no touchdowns. Of course, this offense centers around the tailback position, led by Tim Worley, 761 yards, 11 touchdowns. Rod Hampton, who plays behind him, is hurt today and may not play very much. Scott Adams, the right guard for Georgia, is playing in place of the injured Lamont Tellis. We'll see how he does. The running game goes over on the right side, gets about 7 yards. That's Worley. Up across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Georgia's running game will be going against this Kentucky defensive unit. The front group of defensive linemen for Kentucky are led by Oliver Barnett. He was just all-world against LSU last week. He had some quarterback sacks, 2 of them, caused a couple of fumbles, and he'll key that defensive line. These are the leading 2 tacklers for Kentucky, the middle linebackers, and a good, solid 3-deep secondary. Georgia running it again, handing off to 33. That's Alfonso Ellis. He gets across the 50 to the 45-yard line of Kentucky, a gain for a first down.
And George Hafner, the offensive coordinator here at Georgia, has done a nice job integrating the pass betwixt and between these great running backs. They'll run play passes every once in a while at you. They'll dump it off to Sadowski, the tight end, or the fullback Henderson in the flat. But most of the time, what you're going to see is what you've seen these first two plays.
Now Keith Henderson in at fullback for Georgia. He wears number 30. In motion, 12, Arthur Marshall. Worley. It's about 4 to the 42-yard line.
As you talk to coaches in the SEC, both offensively and defensively, they have the utmost respect for Vince Dooley and this Georgia offense. Fundamentally, one of the soundest teams year in and year out. Just real tough up front. Joe Hollis does a great job with the offensive line. They just run you off the ball.
Opening moments of the first quarter from Lexington. Georgia on the drive. Second down, 7 from the 42 of Kentucky. Worley again. Goes airborne. Doesn't get much this time till about the 38. That was 96 Donnie Gardner with the stop. Gardner will play a lot at that defensive right tackle position for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Looked like Will Colley was a launching pad that time. Let's watch Tim Worley. Let's go up over the top. No, it's Randy Holler, and he landed on the shoulder pad of Randy Holler. Fine inside linebacker for Kentucky. 3rd and 3.
Spotted at the near side hash mark. 38-yard line of Kentucky. Georgia undefeated in the SEC. Loading up the backfield. Ellis, Henderson, and Worley in there. Johnson keeping it and diving for the first down. Gets to about the 32-yard line. Chris Tolbert gets the tackle for Kentucky, and Georgia keeping it on the ground. They have yet to put the ball in the air, and you won't see them put the ball in the air very much all day long.
There hasn't been a touchdown scored all year, Bob, on this Kentucky defense in the first quarter. Jerry Claiborne sorting his charges on defense.
And they're showing how tough he is. It's a cold, windy day down here, and he's just in that sweater. Worley running hard. Knocked out of bounds after a gain of only 1 or 2. Billy Brewer at Ole Miss said that his team was bruised and battered all week from just taking on the charge of Tim Worley himself.
I was talking to one of the assistant coaches down there, Joe Tereshinski, and he talked about the fact he was a center for a Vince Dooley coach team in the middle 70s, along with Ray Goff, the quarterback, and they said this Kentucky game is always one of the toughest games of the year for them. They always come out of this thing battered and beat up, whether they win or lose.
Second down, 6, Georgia at the Kentucky 30. Marshall in motion. The fullback, Henderson, dropped for no gain. Hit by 96, Donnie Gardner, starting in place of Doug Hauser today, and Jerry Bell was involved in the play too, number 98, the redshirt freshman from Louisville.
They've been getting good plays. You see 98, Jerry Bell, number 92, Vic Adams. He slips the double team. Bell closes down and makes the stop, and they've really been playing well in there. Jerry Bell, a freshman, Vic Adams, a junior. They've been really holding down the interior line for Kentucky.
Now a 3rd down and long. This is 3rd and 6, 7 running plays on this drive so far. Hand off to Henderson. He does not get the first down. Kentucky has stopped Henderson at about the 26.5-yard line. He needed to get to the 24 for the Georgia first down. So we may see a field goal attempt here as holder Joey Hester comes onto the field along with kicker John Casey. Ball is spotted at the, let's call it the 27-yard line. That'll make this about a 44-yard field goal attempt by Casey. You see his stats there. He's 2 out of 4 on the year. Unusual kicking situation. Casey kicks the ones that are close in. Crumley kicks the ones that are long distance. Casey, plenty of foot. It is no good. And Kentucky's defense continues throwing a donut on the board early in the first quarter, as they've done all year against a lot of opponents. And now the Wildcats will take over in a scoreless game. 10:21 to go first quarter. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
I love being on a winning team. Hyundais are the #1 selling subcompact in the nation, and Bluegrass Hyundai leads the way. What's our secret? Could it be all our standard features like front-wheel drive, reclining seats, rear window defroster, or the 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty? Yes, and the low starting price of $54.95 doesn't hurt a bit. When you compare, you just can't lose with Bluegrass Hyundai. Bluegrass Hyundai. 4520 Shelbyville Road.
A lifestyle of independence, security, and comfortable elegance is waiting for you at Brownsboro Park Retirement Community. Enjoy a spacious residence, delicious meals, planned activities, and much, much more. One reasonable monthly fee provides all the services and special amenities you both need and desire. Call 425-3446 today or stop by at 2960 Goose Creek Road and view our beautiful community, Brownsboro Park, where gracious living is affordable.
Scoreless game in the first quarter from Lexington, Kentucky, Commonwealth Stadium. The first opportunity for Glenn Ford to come onto the field with the Kentucky Wildcats. He's the senior quarterback from Phillipsburg, New Jersey. You see 7 interceptions to go to this 3 touchdown passes. First down 10, Kentucky, from their own 27-yard line. Ford with that run and shoot, spreading out to give himself some time, and it's complete for about 9 yards. The receiver is Ray Gover, number 28. He was out near the first down marker, but had to turn back to make the grab. A gain of 9 on the first play. Andy Murray's the fullback. Ivy Joe Hunter will trade with Al Baker and Alfred Rawls at the tailback spot. Gover, Bolden, the leading receivers. And Darrington is not starting as what we had understood. And Mike Meese started at tight end today, but we will be seeing Darrington. And Mike Nord is the survivor of an oft-injured offensive line. He's the only player to be there all year. Everybody else has been banged up and hurt some way or another on that Kentucky offensive line. Second down 1. 43-68. From the 36. 4, quick drop, quick toss. It is complete for the first down to Phil Logan, and he's out near midfield. Let's spot him at the 49, a gain of 13 yards. Carswell with the tackle for the Georgia defense.
Jerry Eisman, the offensive coordinator here at Kentucky, felt that the Georgia cornerbacks gave too much ground early in that double zone, and he felt like they could knife in that little slant in pattern, and that time Ford put it on the money. A nice catch inside by Bill Logan.
Gover and Bolden, the receivers now for 4. He play fakes. Going again. It's complete for a gain of about 4. Not much more. Ray Gover, the receiver. Tackled by 57 Morris Lewis. Let's have a look at that Georgia defensive unit. The Junkyard Dogs struggling a little defensively this year. Bill Goldberg is their leader up front. He's playing with a hip pointer today, not in the 100% condition. And Richard Tarditz, they call him Le Sac from Biarritz, France. He has a chance to set all kinds of career and seasonal sack records for Le Sac. Chuck Carswell playing in place of the injured Ben Smith for Georgia. Georgia's best defensive back. Ben Smith with a shoulder and Achilles will probably play some today. This is second down 6 from the 47. Ford running and throwing. It's picked off. That's 57 Morris Lewis. You got to blame the receiver for that. It was right in his hands. That's Charlie Darrington. He couldn't hold it, and Lewis was there to take it for the Bulldogs.
Well, that's Charlie Darrington here. Had more catches than any tight end in the SEC last year, 26. It's a cool day out here. Got the gloves on. Couldn't hang on to it. Morris Lewis running right with him.
They'll spot it at the 41-yard line of Georgia. Interestingly enough, that's about where they started the first drive after the 39-yard kickoff return by Henderson to open the game. Georgia then drove down near the 25 of Kentucky and stalled. Wildcats have now turned it over. 8:19 to go first quarter. Scoreless game. They go to Worley. Look at him run. Oh, does he run hard. To the 48, 49-yard line goes Tim Worley, who has now become an official, bona fide, yes, you got it, Heisman Trophy candidate.
And he is. You know, some people make Heisman Trophy candidates just by putting that after their name. That rascal, you don't want to get in his way. Mark Sellers is a free safety. He's going to be spotting Ron Robinson, who's got a bum shoulder, and it's not a happy thought to see that hole open up and Tim Worley come roaring through there.
Second down 2 from the 49-yard line. This time to Henderson, the fullback. Kentucky being successful stopping that play. That's the play they stopped earlier to stop the Georgia drive. That was Donnie Gardner with his 3rd tackle of the afternoon. There's Lewis, the outside linebacker who made the interception for Georgia.
Mo Lewis. Talked to Bill Lewis before the game, the defensive coordinator here at Georgia, and he was not a popular character the week after the South Carolina game in Georgia, but he's simplified this defense, and he feels very confident about the way the Georgia defense is playing.
Wishbone look in the backfield on 3rd down 1. Worley doesn't get there. Kentucky's wide, tackle 6, strung it out. David Johnson came up from quarterback to stop the Bulldogs on 3rd down and 1, and Georgia will have to punt it away.
Now, the fellow that makes the play here is Massey, and he makes them all year long for Kentucky. Tony Massey, watch him. He closed it off inside. Henderson couldn't block him out to create the gap inside and forced Worley to run laterally. Great play by Massey. Johnson comes up and put him away.
Chris Tolbert will be back to take the Hester punt. It's a beauty. Tolbert fair catching at the 15-yard line. Punt of 35 yards, and Kentucky starts inside their 20. Scoreless game. 6:26 to go in the first quarter from Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington.
Snake River, Wyoming and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Snake River means fly fishing for lunker cutthroat trout. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. An Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Fellas, it just doesn't get any better than this.
The new Buick Riviera. It's a classic all over again.
The road has been waiting, you're anticipating the spirit you felt way back when. Riviera is back, a classic again. It's a legend once more, what the road's waited for. Riviera, a classic returns. All the great American road belongs to Buick.
Looking at the Kentucky sideline, number 6 is Tony Massey, a key player for the Kentucky Wildcats, who once again stopped the Georgia running game. It's a scoreless game with 6:26 to go in the first quarter, and Kentucky's offense back in the field. Glenn Ford came out red hot, went 3 out of 3, then had the interception, but it wasn't his fault. It went off the hands of tight end Charlie Darrington. So Ford starting, playing well today. Going to run and throw again under a lot of pressure. He just got rid of that one, and wisely so. 97, Paul Giles was on him. The senior from Monroe, Georgia. Tough spot for Kentucky here. 1st and 10 at the Kentucky 15-yard line.
Offensively, what Kentucky's going to try to do is to break up some of the tendencies that they've established over the season. You know, all these coordinators, all these coaches, now they got their computers working, and when you line up in a certain formation, they know exactly what you've done from that formation.
Ivy Joe Hunter goes in motion out of the backfield. He's Kentucky's leading receiver. They give it to Al Baker. The running back lining up in the fullback position. He gets it out to the 20 for about 5, and Giles makes the stop for Georgia.
And that's a perfect example. Usually when Kentucky's in a one-back set, and that time they motion to it, 98% of the time they've been throwing the football. And that time they come back and hand it to Baker inside, tried to crack one quick. Here's Joe Tereshinski there with his hat on backwards. You can tell he was a lineman. He's lost some weight, but, you know, you can just look at his face. You can tell.
Ivy Joe Hunter, the single setback for Kentucky on 3rd down 5 from the 20. There's that Georgia pass rush over the middle of Darrington, complete for the first down. He held on to it this time. The stop was made by 93 Brent Collins, the inside linebacker. 8-yard gain for Darrington, 1st down Wildcats.
Let's watch the secondary work here for Georgia.
A gain of 8 on the play.
2 deep, zone. Collins reacting to the ball thrown. A tight end can be a very, very valuable target for you against a team like Georgia, and we'll talk about why in a second.
1st and 10 from the, let's call it the 29-yard line. And off to Ivy Joe Hunter. Nice job for about 7 yards. It was clogged in the middle. He bounced it outside. 20, Rusty Beasley with a stop for the Bulldogs.
Ivy Joe Hunter, he's 9th on the career rushing list here at Kentucky with 1,487 yards. It's not there at the hole, takes it all the way back, trying to get to the outside. Paul Giles just gets a hand on him to slow him down. Rusty Beasley brings him to the turf, excuse me.
2nd down 1 from the 37-yard line. And off to Hunter. He's thrown for a loss this time. Got back to the line of scrimmage approximately. Giles once again making the stop for the Bulldogs.
Now that's Giles. Now he's doing an impression of William Perry. He's closing in on it. He is a big rascal.
A wide body.
That's right. Of course, up front, George is strong. Giles alternating in there with Hiawatha Berry. Giles has got a bad ankle, and then Bill Goldberg handling the nose chores for George's defense.
Now it's 3rd down 1. 4 on the option. Dives forward and gets it. Out to the 40 goes Glenn Four. And let's go to our studios in Atlanta and Craig Sager with this college football update.
Thank you, Bob. Iowa with a 7-0 lead over Purdue, but the Boilermakers have the ball inside the 10-yard line. Brian Fox to Ernie Schrameyer. The tying touchdown. It's Purdue 7 and Iowa 7 in the second quarter. Back to Bob and Tim.
Hey, Bob.
Okay.
Craig, I got a question for you. Now, we beat Ohio State last year. Purdue beats Ohio State. Do we get any scores on that game? No.
The Boilermakers, well, they're tied right now. That's, you know, that's positive this year. 1st down 10 from the 40. Ivy Joe Hunter. It's about a yard off the left side. Terry Webster with a stop for the Bulldogs. Ivy Joe Hunter, Al Baker, Alfred Rawls, all very good running backs. We'll see Rawls a little later in this game. The junior from Pitts, Georgia, who was recruited by Vince Dooley and the Bulldogs, went to Northeastern Oklahoma and ended up coming up here to Kentucky. He said he was really looking forward to showing the Georgia team what he could do if he gets that opportunity today. Alfred Rawls. We'll see him a little later.
Well, now they're out there where they feel a little bit more comfortable throwing the ball, Bob. They don't want to have any turnovers early in this game deep in their own territory.
2nd down 8. That's Al Baker in motion, number 5 out of the tailback spot. 4 on the run and shoot. That's a good block. He's just going to tuck it under and get some distance. Did he get the 1st down? Yes. Inside Georgia territory to the 47-yard line, a gain of 11. A good block by 62 Bo Smith over there on the right side. He took out Richard Tarditz.
Motion to a one-back set. Andy Murray out in front looking to get the hook inside. Bo Smith drove that Georgia defender inside to create the room for Glenn Four, and a good decision by Glenn Four to go ahead and tuck it under, get the 1st down.
Bo Smith's playing that right tackle position in place of the all-conference offensive lineman Mike Pfeiffer, who's out for the season with a knee. 9th play on this drive, and now Baker and Rawls is in there. That's him in motion, 23. Baker with the carry to the 44.
Baker on the carry.
Tarditz with the tackle, 92.
And what Kentucky's trying to do is bolster their thinning offensive line with 2 tight ends. They have both Meese and Darrington in the game, and that way when they pass the football, Bob, what they'll probably do is they'll keep a tight end in, keep the 2 backs in, give Four time to get it off.
2:33 to go, first quarter. It's a scoreless game. Georgia with 2 good-looking drives till they stalled. Kentucky bends but doesn't break. That's the nature of that defense. 1st down run by Al Baker. Richard Tarditz with a stop again, and Kentucky moving the ball. A gain of 7 that time. Kentucky mixing it up with the run and the pass.
Let's watch Lissac here. His forte is rushing the passer. He dodges Andy Murray, gets back to the inside to help with the tackle. Here's the Frenchman. Richard Tarditz. He's got to step up against the run, though. Step up, take on the fullback, force that play faster.
You're the expert in French. I'm not going to help you on that. 1st down 10 from the 37. 4. Pops it out here to Murray, the fullback. Big gain for a 1st down to the 23-yard line. This time a gain of 14. Georgia's defense having trouble with the excellent balance in the Kentucky offensive set. Kentucky's thrown 7 passes and run the ball 8 times so far.
Kentucky mixing plays well. Running back into the sideline, running to the open field, not creating any tendencies. Murray makes the catch, and Andy Murray's got fine hands. Pulls the ball down. Gets a 1st down.
It's Hunter and Rawls in the backfield. That's Hunter in motion, leading receiver on the Kentucky team. They give it to Rawls, pops it outside. He's down to the 2-yard line. Tackled by Webster. Showing Georgia a little bit of what they missed when they didn't recruit him. Gain of 21 yards.
You really have to give a lot of credit to this offensive line of Kentucky. That time, Bo Smith ran Giles all the way down inside. Carswell missed on the tackle, and Rawls got it to the 2.
Now Kentucky making some substitutions. It'll be first down goal from the 2. Double tight ends in there. And in the backfield, Murray, Hunter, and Baker. And a single wing left. They get a fullback Murray. Georgia's defense was there, led by 97 Paul Giles.
This Kentucky team is hungry. They played Auburn tough. They played Alabama tough, lost in the last play of the football game. The football game handed the game to LSU by dropping 2 snaps on punts. I mean, they've thought of creative ways to lose football games. They are frustrated. They want a victory.
14th play of the drive. This started at the Kentucky 15-yard line. Timeout on the field. It'll be charged to the Wildcats with 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter of a scoreless game, and the Wildcats threatening. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
2 minutes. Let's go. Get your hands counted.
At some banks, it's a long, hard climb to the decision makers. But at Stockyards Bank, you're in on the ground floor with our top-level people. While we always have plenty of tellers as well as the Quest network for your personal banking, your business banking doesn't just get kicked around. Our key people are always ready to meet with you and give you immediate decisions. Stockyards Bank, the one bank that means business.
Value shoppers know that Bluegrass Lincoln Mercury's tremendous buying leverage means that the best automotive values are at 4301 Shelbyville Road. Drive this Lincoln Town Car for only $18,888 or $369 a month. Or drive this award-winning Sable, only $99.99 or $199 a month. Bluegrass Lincoln Mercury searches the U.S. to bring Louisville the best cars with the best prices in the country. Bluegrass Lincoln Mercury.
Second down goal from the 2 for the Wildcats. 43 seconds to go in the first quarter. This drive started at the Kentucky 15-yard line. They've run the ball 10 times, thrown it 7 times to get here. Good balance in the Kentucky offensive attack. Let's see what they do in the short yardage situation. Darrington and Meese, the tight ends in there with Murray and Hunter in the backfield. Kentucky has drawn first blood with 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. An 85-yard drive.
Let's watch it again. Just kind of a counter trap. You see Murray coming this way. Bo Smith, Joe Mazzella pulling, kicking out Georgia defenders. Hunter goes in, actually untouched. Kentucky has outscored their opponents in the last 3 games in the first half, 54-7. Now that's 61-7.
39 seconds to go in the quarter. Kentucky leading at 7-0 as Ivy Joe Hunter scores his 5th rushing touchdown of the season.
Today, many automobiles promise to give you more, and they do. More cylinders, more valves, more camshafts, more to go wrong. But the 3800 V6 engine in a Buick is so sophisticated, it's simple. It gives you quick starts and smooth passing power with less. And a J.D. Power study shows Buick is one of the 10 most trouble-free makes on the road. The 3800 V6, another reason why.
Announcing the Holiday Inn Make the Super Call game. Come to Holiday Inn, get a game card. Now, Super Bowl 18. 4 minutes to go. Raiders face a 4th and goal. You call it. Scratch off the right play, and you win. Thousands of prizes. Even a trip to the Super Bowl. Everybody's getting into it.
Only at America's favorite hotel. For reservations, make the Super Call.
Well, Mike Pfeiffer, you see him in the Kentucky blue jacket there in the back with a ball cap on. He's their all-conference right tackle who's out for the season with knee surgery. Must be proud of this offensive line.
Yeah, Jake Hallam, Farrell Sheridan, 2 offensive line coaches for Kentucky, have done a marvelous job. They not only lost Pfeiffer, but they lost Jim Hill, Tony Mills, Tom Crumbine. They lost in an area that they were weak already through graduation.
Willis with the kickoff. He got all of that one. It'll be brought out after the touchback to the 20-yard line, where the Bulldogs trail 7-0 and get back into the ball game now. The key play on that 85-yard drive was number 23 Rawls for 20 yards.
Just a nice move by Rawls. Did you see him set up that block for Bo Smith? Took it inside and popped to the outside. Good vision by Alfred Rawls. And as you mentioned, Bob, he was recruited by Georgia, and I feel like he's got something to prove this afternoon. That certainly is heightening his intensity.
So the Bulldogs staring at the wrong end of a 7-0 score. It's Hampton and Ellis in the backfield this time. Nothing going for quarterback Wayne Johnson. Gets a couple maybe off the right side. Johnson has yet, Georgia has yet to throw a pass.
And it's been a tough year for Jerry Claiborne. I mean, he's been through a lot of roll-aves this year. His Chargers fought well against Auburn, had Alabama put away, had LSU on the ropes, and let those games slip away.
Rodney Hampton, he's got the sore shoulder. Doesn't seem to have anything wrong with his feet, though, as he gets a couple of yards that time. Massey with the stop. Hampton has a rotator cuff injury in his shoulder. He's been hampered with that problem all year long. He was the starter until he got hurt. That's the end of the first quarter. Kentucky leading 7-0. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
It's Byerly Ford's Pocket the Savings Sale with super cashback savings from Ford to put in your pocket or to use as your down payment. Up to $1,000 back on Thunderbirds, up to $500 back on Rangers, up to $600 back on Bronco 2s, and $300 back on F-Series trucks with manual, and 88 Escorts at invoice. Incredible! Some restrictions apply. Only at 4041 Dixie Highway in Shively.
Byerly Ford, by far the best.
There's a spa that's made for every part of you. A hot spring portable spa, made to massage your feet, your legs, and made to soothe your back. With an automatic back rub like no other spa. And Hot Spring is the most reliable name in spas, which will ease another part of you, your mind. So before you buy a spa, test a Hot Spring spa.
Available at Bear Spa and Saunas, your exclusive Hot Spring spa dealer in Louisville, Lexington, Bowling Green, and Somerset.
You haven't got a prayer.
When the aliens strike in a deadly surprise attack on War of the Worlds.
Tonight at 10 on WDRB.
Bob Neal, Tim Foley with you, and our ubiquitous spotter Kim Anderson here between us, pointing out the players as the play is going along, and he's been pointing out a lot of balance for Kentucky. And that drive, 14 plays to score, 7 passes, 7 runs.
Unbelievable mixture. I mean, they're playing like a SEC champ. They're playing against a good football team.
Well, we saw Kentucky lead Alabama here at Commonwealth Stadium 17-0 at the half. Alabama came back to win that with 31-27 in a very thrilling ball game. This is Worley going for the first down. It's close. I believe he got it if they spotted where the official is standing now. Worley picked up the first down. Holloran with the stop. Let's look at the stats in the first quarter. You see that Kentucky had 7 first downs and dominate the stats all along. Georgia has yet to put the football in the air.
Kentucky there kept their defense off the field against a strong Georgia offense, and that's something that they haven't done consistently during the year. They've come up with big plays, but they haven't had the long drives.
Worley and Henderson in the backfield on first down 10 from the 32. Wayne Johnson. Had a man wide open and dropped it, Arthur Marshall. Oh, my. He'll want to have that back. He'll not want to see the coaching films on Monday.
Good fake by Johnson, and Johnson has been an effective passer, and he doesn't throw it unless the guy's wide open. And Arthur Marshall was wide open there. The corner had been run off by the Georgian John Thomas, and just, that's it.
Let's go, dogs. Arthur's from Hepzibah, Georgia. He probably doesn't want anybody to know that at the moment since he dropped that play. I'm sure he's embarrassed, but he'll be back for another try. Worley across the 35 to the 36. It'll be third down and substantial yardage now for the Bulldogs.
And when you look at Wayne Johnson and Greg Talley's statistics throwing the football, both of them are throwing right around 60%. They've only had 5 interceptions between them. They throw the ball well because they mix it in there nicely.
There you go. You'd say that Georgia's leans a little toward the running game. 3rd down 6 for the Bulldogs. Pressure on Johnson. He just had to throw it away. Tony Massey was right in his face. Well, Kentucky giving the Bulldogs all they can handle here in the first half.
And Tony Massey is an all-SEC performer. When you need a big play, he's got the number to dial. There, nobody picked him up. It was a breakdown in protection. There was no back out in the flat. But Massey has just come up with big play after big play for Kentucky.
It's apparent from the direction of the flags blowing that Hester will have the wind at his back for this punt. He drives it a long way. Tolbert tried to run it back, but didn't have much of a chance. Boy, Tolbert will scare you to death on catching the punts. He's an adventure every time he touches it. Punt of 41 yards, a loss of 3 on the return. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
You know me, but I won't be coming to your door this Halloween in this scary outfit, because all this month I'll be at the used car Halloween bash at Sam Pottinger Ford. 88 Tempos, $79.95. 88 Mustangs, $89.95. Or Rangers from just $46.95. Come on out to Sam Pottinger Ford this Halloween season, where I'll be dressed as something really scary. A car salesman.
There's always something happening at the Bojangles. Always something happening at the Bo. Cajun chicken, spice so wild. Southern style that tastes so mild. So when you want chicken, you know where to go. Get it wild and mild. Both at the Bo. There's always something happening at the Bojangles. There's always something happening at the Bo.
Stop by today for Bojangles Tailgate Special. A 12-piece chicken box with a biscuit for $9.99.
Coaching football at Kentucky, predominantly known for basketball, just might be one of the toughest jobs in the SEC. In 1983, the Wildcats returned to a bowl game. Was their first in 7 years, mainly due to the guidance of their head coach, Jerry Claiborne. Although Kentucky came up short in that game versus the West Virginia Mountaineers, it was merely a preview of the season to come, because in 1984, Claiborne's Wildcats posted an 8-3 record and a return visit to the Hall of Fame game versus Wisconsin. Kentucky's Joey Worley was the hero, providing a 52-yard field goal and giving the Wildcats a thrilling 2019 victory. Jerry Claiborne and his team finished the season at 84, ranked 19th in the nation. Now the Wildcats lead here at Lexington 7-0 and have taken over the ball at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Rawls and Knox in the backfield for Kentucky. Rawls, 23. Across the 25 to the 28-yard line goes Rawls, a gain of 6 on the play, and Rawls with the 20-yard run, and the 6 has 26 and 2 carries on the day.
We saw him run for 137 yards against Alabama, ripped off 157-yarder. He's definitely made a difference to this Kentucky offense, ground attack anyway, because now you can rotate Ivy Joe Hunter. Baker is running with more authority, and Rawls, when you give him the ball, he can take it all the way.
2nd down 4 from the 28-yard line. Rolls in motion. 4 under pressure from, guess who? Richard Tarditz. That's his 10th sack of the year.
That time, it looked to me like Glenn Ford went the wrong way. The fullback goes right. There's no reason back. The linemen on the backside are just setting up the wall off. They weren't expecting him to go out there. I don't know if he saw something to his left, tried to hit something quick, but he went the wrong way that time.
See, the next time Tarditz gets a sack, if he has another one here today, and he probably will, he'll tie the Georgia career sack record, and he's only 2 away from the season record. Jimmy Payne holds that career record, by the way. Kentucky uses the second of their 3 timeouts here in the first half with 12:05 to go in the second quarter. It'll be 3rd down 12 when we return.
Introducing an automobile that will change the way you think about two-seaters. Riata by Buick, the premium American two-seater you can be comfortable with. Riata offers a high level of luxury, sophisticated conveniences, and a remarkable amount of room at a most attractive price. If your aim in life has always been high, drive the premium American two-seater, Riata by Buick. Go ahead, you deserve it.
Black Rock, Nevada and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Black Rock means land sailing, riding the wind across dry desert lakes. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, and Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Today's game is being brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, two of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Buick and your Buick dealers, the Great American Road belongs to Buick. 12:05 to go, second quarter. Kentucky leading 7-0, facing a third down 12, 20-yard line. Coming wide to the left side, Logan and John Bolden. That's Logan, 80 in motion. 4, right across the middle. Great grab for the first down. And shaken up on the play is 82 John Bolden. He was hit hard as he went high, a gain of 19, and he's in some pain down there.
Great catch by John Bolden. Courageous catch coming across the middle like that.
Bolden shaken up on the play.
This is the last thing as a receiver in your life that you like doing. See him working against Carswell here. Carswell's got help inside. The ball is thrown up high. Bolden goes up for it. Good concentration on the football, pulls it down. Four sees him breaking to the inside. Gets it in there before Beasley can take his head off. Nice catch by John Bolden. Last week had 100 yards receiving. That was a career high for John.
Looks like he's all right. Carswell hit him with his shoulder pad in the front of his face gear. Certainly a legitimate clean tackle, but he got him right in the small of the back as Bolden was stretched out. He comes off, and you can see he's not exactly having the time of his life at the moment, but looks to be okay. We'll keep a close eye on John Bolden. Meantime, it was a 19-yard first down grab to the 39.
John's just lucky that Rusty Beasley didn't get a piece of him coming across.
First down 10. Rawls wants to go outside. Nothing happening there. Gets a yard or two when he turns it back in. It was Vince Guthrie, number 54, making the stop for the Bulldogs.
And Rawls takes that up inside, trying to help out the offensive linemen get outside position on their block, and then tries to break it outside. But Guthrie that time just stayed right at home and was waiting for Alford when he rounded the corner. There's Bill Lewis, a defensive coordinator at Georgia. He's been the topic of a lot of conversation. A fine football coach, former head coach at Wyoming, and he's simplified this Georgia defense.
Second down 8 from the 41-yard line. 4 sprinting to throw. As his man, Darrington, to the 41 of the Bulldogs. Rusty Beasley with a stop, a gain of 18 yards.
Glenn Ford, at times inconsistent, but has the ability to come up with a big play. This is athletic ability. Look, he's rolling to his left. Nothing there, nothing there. Oh, he sees Darrington late, coming back against the grain and fires it in there. What a throw.
First and 10 from the 41. Kentucky leading 7-0 and driving again. Al Baker gets about 4 tough yards right in the gut of the Georgia defense. Brent Collins with a stop. Kentucky has rushed for 66 yards, passed for 86 yards as that balance continues.
Glenn Ford reminds me a lot of Terry Bradshaw in his first few years in the NFL. Not that Glenn has the kind of arm that Terry had, but Terry didn't care where the coverage was and where he was supposed to throw it. He had the arm to get it in there. He didn't have to read it. Boom!
Second down 7 from the 38. 4 fakes and sprints. He's under pressure again. Just had to dump it off. Tardich was back there again.
Let's watch Richard Tardit's work. As Bob said, only 1 sack shy of the school record, and he can get around. You know where they're going to use him in the NFL? he's going to be a Lawrence Taylor type of guy, coming from the open side, a stand-up linebacker, because he's got such quickness upfield, and he also has the agility, if he gets that tackle turned upfield, to duck back down underneath.
Yeah, but he says he might not play in the NFL. Says he may go to Australia and play Australian rules football. Did he mean that? 4. Picked off again, and it's once again Morris Lewis. His second interception of the first half. Kentucky on the drive, and 4 threw it right into the waiting arms of Morris Lewis, and he got a 19-yard return out here near midfield. Let's spot it at the 47-yard line, and there's some definite discussion happening on the far side of the field between the Bulldogs and the Kentucky players. Lewis just got out of the way. But boy, there's a gang of Georgia players and Kentucky players. They've broken it up now.
Ford drops the throw. Darrington coming across the middle. You can count on the flanker coming inside. He tries to throw it in that hole, but a good drop by Mo Lewis. Gets right in the path of the flanker. Glenn Ford never saw him.
2 interceptions on the day for Lewis. 9:49 to go in the first half. Kentucky leads it 7-0, but Georgia with excellent field position at their own 46-yard line, and Wayne Johnson throwing his second pass of the day, his first completion. It's to Worley. Oh, look at Worley lay one into David Johnson, but Johnson stood him up pretty tall there. Johnson in at 190 pounds, Worley at about 220.
You know what's depressing about that? If you're a defensive back, you see Timmy Worley. I mean, if he wants to run over you, he can run over you, but he's also nifty enough to make you miss. So you don't really want to screw your cleats down into the ground to get ready for him, because he'll duck you.
I like what Watson Brown of Vanderbilt said. You let Worley go upstream, I'd hate to tackle him. He'd be playing nose guard for Vanderbilt. Keith Henderson. Big hole, good acceleration to the 35-yard line of Kentucky. Holloran with the stop for the Wildcats. Gain of 13 by Keith Henderson.
I tell you what a headache for a defensive coordinator. Here is your counter punch, a guy that is averaging 19 yards a catch and 6 yards a carry, Keith Henderson.
Henderson playing with stitches, 19 stitches on his right hand. He cut it on the chin strap snap on one of the Georgia helmets in practice. Henderson gets only a couple of that time. He stopped about the 33-yard line on the first down play. Hauser with the stop for the Wildcats.
Kentucky keeps their string attached as Vince looks on of no touchdowns allowed in the first quarter. They've only given up 3 points in the first quarter all year long.
The question for Kentucky is, can they maintain momentum in the second half? The answer against their previous SEC opponents this year is no. Second down 9 from the 33. Henderson again. He's a tough runner. Henderson at 6'2", 215 also. Henderson and Worley, identical size. One's a fullback and one's the tailback, but they can almost switch positions because this man has great acceleration too.
Let's watch this line work, and many say it's the best coordinated line in the SEC, and that's probably because they do the same thing most of the time, just blow off the ball together. They're great team blockers, very well coordinated.
Third down 2. It's a short 2 from the 26. Wayne Johnson gets it near the 20. McAdams with a stop for the Wildcats. So Georgia started this drive out near midfield after the Mo Lewis interception, his second of the day. Number 11 there is the redshirt freshman quarterback for Georgia, signaling in the plays, Greg Talley. He might play. Georgia often alternates Johnson and Talley.
You see Ray Goff with the green headsets on. He was a player of the year in the SEC back in '76.
Hampton and Ellis in the backfield for Georgia now. And check it, Hampton and Henderson. And that's Henderson with the carry to the 17-yard line.
Vince Dooley is an amazing individual. 25 years as a head coach in one place. I mean, that's almost impossible. That's longer than anyone has ever done it at any Division 1A school. And the third winningest active coach. Only Bo Schembechler and Joe Paterno have won more football games. And, you know, he's been 6 times. He's taken Georgia to the conference champion, 1 national championship.
Second down 8 from the 18-yard line. John Hummings in motion. And off Hampton. to about the 13, short of the first down. Well, Dooley's 25 years as head coach at Georgia is almost as impressive as the fact that you and I have lasted in the television industry together for 7 years.
Oh, well. Is this an industry?
This is an industry, yes. Blue collar. All the way. 6:37 to go in the second quarter. It'll be third down and about 3. One of the Kentucky players is down near the 10-yard line. We'll check out who it is and his condition, but first let's take this break. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
Folks at Contractor Sales and Rentals work almost as hard as their equipment. They're making sure the equipment and supplies are available when you need them, and making sure that what you rent or buy is in top condition and reasonably priced. The folks at Contractor Sales and Rentals are working just a little harder to save you time and money. For construction and industrial equipment and supplies, you can count on Contractor Sales and Rentals. The dreams of a child, pure, simple. At Hannon Oldsmobile, we believe that dreams can come true, but it's not always easy. It takes hard work, determination, and lots of practice. Hannon Oldsmobile understands the basic dreams and desires in us all. That's why we offer the finest automobiles at reasonable prices and hassle-free service, pure and simple. Please spend time with children, for today's daydreamer may be the future's dream come true.
He was touted as one of the nation's top quarterbacks before the season, and so far Tommy Hodson has lived up to that billing. 1894, and this year it's a must-win for LSU. Next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central from Baton Rouge. Georgia on the march, third down, long 2 at the 12 of Kentucky. Wayne Johnson looks like he got it. Don't have a good angle at it from this direction, but it's very close to the first down. 6:20 to go in the second quarter. Kentucky leading by 7.
That's a tough play to stop because he pops in there behind that offensive line and behind 2 backs. I mean, that's like a mini wedge coming at you. And Johnson's got that long, lanky body. If he lays down, it's a 3-yard gain.
By the way, the injured Kentucky player Jerry Bell seems to be okay. He came off the field during that commercial break and is all right now. First down goal, Georgia, from the 9. Hampton. To about the 7. Jay Dortch, 36, with the stop. They'll spot it at the 8-yard line. There's Bell. He came off the sideline. They're attending to him right now.
Working on his shoulder. They'd reached up inside, checked the acromioclavicular joint. Mine kept coming apart. That's how I learned how to say that. After the 4th time, I said, that's how you say that.
Mr. Zipper is what I call Tim Foley. Worley, Hampton, and Henderson in the backfield. Second down goal from the 8. Henderson drives to the 3. So it will be third down goal from about the 3-yard line for the Bulldogs.
Get a nice stick in there by Randy Holleran on that one. And he's a defensive signal caller. He's got 84 tackles so far this year. And man, and the sophomore is averaging almost 14 tackles a start.
Worley, Henderson in the backfield, and Worley's calling timeout. There's some confusion for the Georgia football team down there. Georgia uses their first timeout of this first half. Kentucky's leading 7-0, and it's third down goal from the 3 when we return.
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
Ricky Rudd talks about Quaker State with QSX.
If you're like me, you want your engine to perform. You want it to run clean, and you don't want sludge. That's why you and I both need Quaker State with QSX.
QSX keeps dirt particles in suspension, so they're trapped in your oil filter instead of sludging up your engine.
No other oil runs cleaner or fights sludge better. And the Quaker State I use in my car is the same oil you can buy right off the shelf for your car.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Georgia concludes their meeting with Vince Dooley. Third and goal from the 3.
For most football teams, Bob, this would be a play pass down. You could expect a play pass. In Georgia, there's no telling.
Ellis, Henderson, Worley in the backfield, double tight ends. Georgia waiting for the officials to get the timing set. 4:57 to go in the second quarter. Worley sweeps left side. Kentucky's there. No gain. Vic Adams led the way for the Wildcats. On comes the field goal unit.
Motion Henderson to the left just to try to distract Kentucky. You see Vic Adams, 92, fighting his way upfield. Halloran there. Dortch turns it in. Benzinger there with Burks to help out. Fine defense by Kentucky.
John Casey missed a 43-yard attempt earlier. This one will be about 19 yards. It is good, and Georgia has finally put some points on the board and trails Kentucky 7-3 with 4:09 to go in the second quarter. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
Here's Pontiac excitement. Here's 3 reasons to drive Pontiac excitement now. Pontiac Savings, 89 Grand Am LE, $194 a month. Pontiac Savings, Grand Prix, $234 a month. Pontiac Savings, Bonneville, $255 a month. Hurry, you have 3 reasons to drive Pontiac excitement now, but only 1 chance to save. See the Pontiac pros of Kentuckiana. Cross, Green Tree, Brinkhouse, Browning, Hardin Motors, Sam Swope.
Since 1943, the Lang Company has been copy headquarters for Kentucky and southern Indiana. It still is.
0 to 50 copies in seconds. And like any other high-speed set of wheels, there are fancy options like sorters, stackers, and feeders. The Minolta 870, one mean set of wheels.
For all your copy needs, the Lang Company in Louisville, Owensboro, Evansville, and Bowling Green.
So Georgia drives the ball 50 yards after the Mo Lewis interception. Well-executed drive, but could not get it into the end zone on 3rd down goal from the 3. And Casey kicks the field goal. But a well-executed drive, Tim Foley.
1 pass in the drive, and the rest of it was what Georgia does best. That almost looked like a second-half drive. You know, they played Vanderbilt, they played Ole Miss close at halftime, and then they came and just wore them out in the second half. 2 tight ends, ran the ball, shoved it down their throats. And that's what they did that time to Kentucky.
Casey with a kickoff, Rawls and Hunter back. It's going to Ivy Joe Hunter in the end zone. He's decided to run it out. Uh-oh. Not a good decision. Down at the 8-yard line. Man for Georgia making the play, number 35, Kevin Brown, and Kentucky will have to set it up at their own 8-yard line. They started a drive at their own 15 earlier today and drove it 85 yards for a TD, however.
Special teams have just killed Kentucky. Poor decisions, poor punt protection. When we were here with Alabama, Chris Dolbert fielded a ball inside the 10-yard line, and that time Ivy Joe Hunter trying to make a big play, but that was one that he should have taken it on the 20.
Ivy Joe Hunter running it, gets a little running room, drives it out to the 15-yard line, make it the 14-yard line.
You know, there are some things that are just rules, and you don't mess with the rule. That one, he was 4 yards deep in the end zone, a high kick. I mean, you'd stay in there. There's no percentage in bringing it out. You don't field a punt inside your own 10-yard line. If you touch the ball in situations like that, it's just a major error.
The 2nd down 4 from the 14. Murray and Hunter in the backfield for the Wildcats. 3:28 to go in the first half. Hunter, a couple of tough yards, out to about the 17. Kentucky needs to cross the 19 for the first down.
That's the same play they scored a touchdown on in the first quarter. Little counter trap. Bring the interior lineman back across the line to kick out on the Georgia defenders.
Remember, it's only in the upper 40s here and breezy and very chilly. And you see Vince Dooley down there just in his shirt sleeve, showing that Marine Corps bulldog tenacity, thick skin. 3rd down and 1. Hunter. No, that's Rawls. He was hit in the backfield. Terry Webster was back there, but he popped it outside and gets the 1st down. Alfred Rawls.
Fine job of running by Alfred Rawls. You're going to see number 60, Terry Webster, shoot through. Andy Murray bumps him off, but actually Rawls ran through the tackle, and a good job by Alfred Rawls.
Rawls today has 4 carries for 34 yards. 1st down, Kentucky, with 2:41 to go in the half. Wildcats leading at 7-3. Drive started at the Kentucky 8. Al Baker. Extra effort, close to the 1st down. Beasley with a stop for Georgia. A gain of about 10. Let's see where they spot it.
Let's watch 63, Joel Mazzella work. Nice job by Murray. Excellent job in there, like by Denham, creating that gap, and Baker is running with authority. This man came in here as a freshman last year, highly touted, best running back in Kentucky high school football, and didn't really run aggressively, didn't run upfield. And I got the feeling that people were a little bit disappointed with his performance, but he is running now north and south.
Sometimes you have to wonder if it maybe wasn't the addition of Alfred Rawls and the good play by Hunter that sometimes doesn't motivate a player like Baker. He says, I could be 3rd or 4th on this depth chart very quickly. 1st down, 10 from the 36. Play fake, 4 under pressure. Tarditz dumps it to the fullback Murray. Murray gets 3 or 4 yards out near the 40. Ben Smith now into the game for Georgia, number 26. He's Georgia's best athlete in the secondary, number 26, but he's playing with a sore shoulder and a sore Achilles. There's Ben. By the way, Ben Smith was a roommate of Alfred Rawls, the Kentucky running back, when both attended Northeast Oklahoma Junior College. Ben got his grades in order in 1 year and went ahead to Georgia. Took Alfred 2 years to get them straightened out in junior college, and that's one of the reasons he ended up at Kentucky instead of Georgia. On 2nd down, 6. 4 had his man, Phil Logan. Logan just stared up into the stands like...
Right, I saw what happened to Bolden when he stretched out for one, but that was uncatchable. That one just got away from Glenn Ford. A good read. He wanted Darrington, who was working on an option inside. It wasn't there. Logan was set up as just an emergency relief valve there, but Glenn threw it out of bounds.
Minute 57 to go in the half. Kentucky leading 7-3. This will be 3rd down, 6 from the Kentucky 40. Gover and Jones are the receivers for the Wildcats. 4 under pressure, and guess who got him? Yes, sir. That was Richard Tarditz, and Tarditz has now tied the Georgia career sack record of Jimmy Payne's.
Let's watch him head upfield. He's head upfield around Greg Lahr, and really Lahr feels like he took him deep enough. He came all the way around, and still he's got the agility to change directions and come back into the pocket and pick up 4.
And this guy not only has tied the career sack record, but listen to this. He graduated in only 3 years with a degree in international business, entered graduate school, and is now a grad student. And what a performer he's been. Walked on, earned a scholarship.
I wonder if he took French.
Not allowed. What do they call it? He tested out of French, probably. Remaining schedule for the Bulldogs: homecoming against William and Mary on the 29th, then Florida down in Jacksonville, at Auburn, and then Georgia Tech on the 26th. So Georgia's got a tough road to go. That Auburn game will get right down to it, folks. Change in punters this week after the problems last week, and Jay Tesser hit a pretty good one. And good coverage by the Wildcats down to the 24-yard line. That was a 45-yard punt by Jay Tesser. He's the senior, and that's the first time that Tesser has punted the ball all year long.
Well, he had a knee problem in the fall, Bob, and now he's just coming back. But I tell you what, he needs to get that thing off a little quicker. That took too much time to get airborne, and if Georgia comes after it, he may have that ball going the other way.
First down, 10 from the 24 for the Bulldogs. Minute 34 remaining in the first half. Whistles. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has there been a penalty? I think that's the first one of the game. First yellow flag of this ball game with only a minute 31 to go. Funny how I didn't even miss them. Rom Gilbert makes the call. Penalty against Georgia. False start for the left guard, Shelly Anderson. Yeah, what a pleasant feeling that was to play an entire half with only one penalty. First down, 15 for the Bulldogs now, back to the 19-yard line. Hampton, not much, couple of yards only. Wayne Johnson, 1 out of 3 passing the ball for only 6 yards. Not real surprising. Georgia has rushed for 105 on the afternoon. Georgia apparently just taking their time, letting the clock tick down.
I don't think they're in a hurry to turn the ball over. They can go in 4 points behind. They may fling one way down the field, but I don't think they want to take the chance of turning the ball over to Kentucky.
They give it to the fullback, Henderson. Clock down to 54 and counting on the lower right of your screen. Be sure to stay with us at halftime. We have our usual sparkling halftime program. Craig Sager in Atlanta with scores and highlights from college games. Have this week's greatest game in history, the UCLA-Tennessee game from '65, which was played in Memphis. And scenes from the Larry Munson sound-alike. Larry Munson, of course, is the voice of the Georgia Bulldogs. And unique might be the word for Larry's style. They had a sound-alike contest that took place in Atlanta this week. And also entertainment from the Kentucky Wildcat Marching Band. 2 legendary broadcasters in this game on the radio network. Caleb Ledford from Kentucky, airing it out to Arthur Marshall. Johnson covering on the play. And Tim, you had that one called earlier. You said Georgia would probably just kind of run the clock out and maybe air it out once, and they did it.
Yeah, and this is, we'll see the end of it here. David Johnson plays the ball well, does a nice job. He was in great position all the way, goes up for the football, can't come down with the interception, but, you know, Georgia's behind by 4 at half, so what's new? You know, I don't think they're that upset about that. They're a second-half football team. They plan on wearing you down.
Almost blocked. Hester gets it away, and Tolbert's just going to fair catch it. Ooh, over-the-shoulder catch. He juggled it. Once again, another roll aid goes into the mouth of Jerry Claiborne. That was a 51-yard punt with a wind-aided punt by Joey Hester. 6 seconds remaining in the half, and Kentucky leading it by a 7-3 count.
And they're going to go into the locker room, and they're going to talk about not again. This isn't going to happen again. We've fought these teams down to the wire. We've lost to Auburn, Alabama, LSU by 17 points, an aggregate score of 17 points. 2 of those games we let get away from us that we should have won.
4 is going to throw it with only 6 seconds. But he's not tackled. Tardet's almost had him. They'll count that as a reception by number 80, Phil Logan. So it'll go statistically in the books of 25-yard pass reception, but it won't matter for anything as the buzzer sounds. The clock goes down to the 000s, and the first half is over. Kentucky leading it 7-3. Georgia, 6 yards passing, 109 running, and Kentucky with that good balance. Both teams had about the same amount of possession time, and the 2 interceptions by Mo Lewis of Georgia really made a big difference. They're the deep backs for Kentucky. 32 on the left is Ivy Joe Hunter. 23 on the right is Alfred Rawls. John Casey set to kick off for the Bulldogs. Kentucky leading it 7-3. Rawls He's not going to run it out. Ivy Joe Hunter said, hey, I tried that earlier and only got out to the 8, so just chill it out right there. Here's what Kentucky did with their possessions in the first half. You see, the field position was not very good. They never started outside their own 27-yard line. But Kentucky moved the ball well. The turnovers really made a difference there, or Kentucky could have been leading this football game by more.
Good play by Georgia defense. Good drops by Morris Lewis. One was a tip ball, but one was just a fine drop by Mo Lewis. Got himself in the right place.
First play of the second half from the 20-yard line. In motion, Ivy Joe Hunter. Hand off to Baker to the 21-yard line. Bill Goldberg, number 95 for Georgia, the excellent middle guard from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Goldberg playing with a hip pointer in this game today.
Let's watch Goldberg work. Good quickness. Arm over, right around Crawley, and then back into the play. Good read and good movement by Bill Goldberg, and we've seen him develop and become a fine nose guard.
Second down 9 from the 21. 4 under pressure. Thrown down by Wycliffe Lovelace, number 94, back at the 10-yard line. That's the third Georgia sack of the day.
Now watch Lovelace here. Watch this move on Denham. Denham never really got his hands on him. What he was trying to do is stop him with those fists and never touched him. Wycliffe brushed those hands aside, arm over, and just straight upfield. Kentucky is thin in the offensive line. They're playing over their heads.
Third down, 18 from the 12 now. 4 with that sprint out. Give himself a little time. Is it picked off? Yes, Georgia ball at the 34-yard line, right down in front of the Kentucky bench. It's number 25, David Hargett, the sophomore from Valdosta, the third Georgia interception of the afternoon.
Are they calling it incomplete, Bob? I think they're calling it incomplete. Now this is an ill-advised throw. Ford tries to set it up, tries to throw it in there to Governor, but there's just no room there. Nobody open.
Yes, they did call it incomplete. It did go through his hands.
And that's the thing. We had talked about Glenn Ford and his ability to make the play, but also sometimes he doesn't use his judgment wisely and tries to force the ball, and that's a perfect example of trying to make something where nothing is there.
Now Kentucky with the punting woes, but this time Tesser got rid of it a little quicker than he did last time. Not a very good punt, though. A diving grab by Carswell. He had trouble handling it. Georgia now trailing 7-3. That was only a 27-yard punt. The possessions of Georgia, they had some good field position, starting at their own 41 twice, at their own 47 the other time, but they come up with nothing but the field goal. 4 points scored in the first half. And a change in quarterbacks could be coming up for Kentucky, as you see Chuck Broughton warming up on the sideline, as Ford has thrown 2 interceptions, and really, in terms of how you'd rate him, 3, even though the defensive back for Georgia dropped that last one. Wayne Johnson throwing on the run. He's got his man down there, but he overthrew Kirk Warner, the tight end, number 83, at the goal line. Good pressure by Oliver Barnett back there on Johnson as he was releasing the ball.
And this is the play where they like to get the ball to Keith Henderson. He's got 12 catches, averaging almost 20 yards a catch on that little play where they run him back against the flow in the flat. Good coverage there by Kentucky underneath. Jay Dortch just ran with Henderson, and they tried to get it over the top, but Ron Robinson in a good spot.
Second down, 10, Georgia, from the 39-yard line of Kentucky. That's John Thomas in motion. They give it to Worley. Broke a tackle, broke another tackle. Stiff arm. Finally out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A monster run by Tim Worley. Halloran finally got him, a gain of 29 yards.
And this is the thing that you know is going to happen eventually. He's just a big, strong, aggressive runner, caterpillar-like power, but the agility of a wide receiver. And they just bounce off, and there's Randy Halloran finally hustling over there to make the stop. But it's awfully tough for a defensive back to take this guy up high. He's so strong.
Kentucky leads 7-3. They've led all the way, but it's threatened now. First and goal at the 8. Henderson Drives to the 4. Holleran with another stop for the Wildcats. Georgia got down here previously in the first half, but couldn't nail it into the end zone, had to settle for the field goal. See if the Wildcats can put up that defensive stand once again for Jerry Claiborne. Georgia with the wishbone look. Hampton and Worley behind Henderson. Johnson keeps it. He drives to about the 2. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 2. Kentucky stopped Georgia on 3rd and goal from the 3 in the first half. Now they're going to spot it near the 3.
Kentucky defensively sending in another down lineman, Mike Chisholm, coming into the game for Jerry Bell. Last time they were down in this situation, they ran the toss to Worley. They're giving him the 3-back look.
3rd down and goal. Wayne Johnson did not get into the end zone. It's short by about a yard. It looks as though Georgia may decide to go for it.
Watch Tony Massey. Watch number 6 come into your picture here. Lined up on a ball, and here he comes. Boom, grabs a hold, causes something to happen. Holleran puts a hat on Johnson, but he spills toward the goal line. Georgia, 4th and inches, they're going.
Fans on their feet here at Commonwealth Stadium. Worley, touchdown, Georgia. Worley's 12th touchdown of the season. For the first time in the game, Georgia has taken the lead. That came on a turnover, almost a turnover, a short 27-yard punt by Kentucky.
Okay, let's watch it here now. Shelley Anderson, Will Culley on the left side. Alfonso Ellis leading the way, and Worley launches his body over the plane of the goal line.
Casey for the point after, the left footer, and it's good. It's 10-7 Georgia with 11:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. Georgia had to drive at only 39 yards after the Kentucky drive stalled, and they got a short 27-yard punt.
Train number 12, now entering the station.
Okay, this is us.
Excuse me, Bud. Hey, watch it, Bud.
That seat taken? No, go ahead, Bud. Hey, hold the door.
Out of here. Introducing Budweiser Long Necks to Go. Now in handy 12 and 6-packs.
Are you done with that paper?
Flight 12 now boarding.
Come on, Bud. Want a window or an aisle?
Window, Bud.
Excuse me, Bud.
Hey, just fit the overhead. Not smoking, Bud.
Just a dinner flight.
Introducing Budweiser Long Necks to Go. Now in handy 12
Hey, check out the window. Commuter flight.
and 6-packs.
You can eat those peanuts.
Extra Strength Alka-Seltzer has more of what you take Alka-Seltzer for. More medicine. More bubbles. For fast relief of heartburn with a headache. Try
Extra Strength Alka-Seltzer. More of what you take Alka-Seltzer for.
Here's something extra from Seltz Blue. Extra medicated Seltz Blue.
It's extra medicated for the symptoms of my serious dandruff.
It has an extra medicine, plus the ingredient recommended most by doctors. Extra medicated Seltz Blue.
Thrill of victory. The agony of dead meat. On Freddy's Nightmares.
Tonight at 11:30 on WDRB.
Let's watch the touchdown here. We're going to watch Tim Worley going into the end zone, and then we're going to watch the man who taught him how to leap, Tim Worley. Randy Holleran there, but not in time as Worley scores a touchdown. And here's his mentor on the sideline, and that's how Vince taught him to do it.
Georgia scored 14 points on that, 2 touchdowns in 1 play. That was Dooley's 12th touchdown of the year, too.
I don't care how long you've been coaching. Vince, 25 years, Jerry Claiborne, 27 years as head coaches. You never lose the excitement of the game.
Casey really nailed that one, driving Rawls out of the end zone. The wind at the back of Georgia in this 3rd quarter, coming from left to right as you view it down there. And it's 10-7 Georgia now, with 11:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. And let's see what Kentucky can do this time. They stalled on their drive last time, thanks to a big sack by Wycliffe Lovelace.
Well, they had pressure by Tarditz, a sack by Lovelace, missed assignments in the offensive line, actually, and then a miscue by the quarterback, Len Fore.
The play fake. They dump it off to the fullback. Murray needs a block, gets it. And he drives out here to the 27-yard line, a gain of about 7. Terry Webster with a stop. Penalty markers down at the point of the play. Georgia indicating that it's against Kentucky. Rom Gilbert is our referee in the white hat. Personal foul, Kentucky.
Jerry Claiborne voicing his case to the nearest official.
Spotting it back at the 19-yard line.
That was a great fake by Glenn Floor and pumped it out there in the flat to Andy Murray. Brian Crawley, the center, out there in front of it to make the play, to get it going.
This will make it 2nd down, 16 now. And I said 19. They spot the ball at the 14-yard line. Georgia leading for the first time of the game, 10-7. Early, 3rd quarter. That's Hunter in motion. And off Murray. Maybe a yard, penalty marker down again. With the first half with only 1 penalty flag.
That's what happens in cold days. As many flags. Keep your hands in your pocket.
That's 2 in a row against Kentucky. Now this time illegal shift is the call. Georgia turns it down as it'll bring up 3rd down, 16 from the 15.
Last week against LSU, Kentucky fell behind in the 3rd quarter. On the next possession, they came back and pow, 70-yard touchdown to John Bolden. Take the lead again.
Ford's going to throw it this time. Right over the middle, has his man. It is complete to Alfred Jones. 1st down, Kentucky. A gain of 21. Jones, a junior from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, another one of the Northeast Oklahoma Junior College transfers. There he is, number 3, 6'4", 180.
A gutty throw. You know, Bill Lewis, defensive coordinator from Georgia, would tell you this should never happen. Get some depth. Those linebackers, get back. You got to go 20 yards. What are you doing messing around up there? 1st down. Great catch by Jones and a beautiful throw by Ford. This is a gutty throw. Here's a guy that's thrown 3 interceptions on the day. He's got the intestinal fortitude to lay it in there again.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line now. And out to the 41-yard line goes Alfred Rawls. Gain of about 4, tough 4 over the left side. Wilkes, Nord playing over there.
One of my precepts in playing in the secondary was never have to hurry to a place you can line up. If it's 3rd and 20, then get back off the ball. Don't put yourself in a situation where you got to hustle. And that's exactly what Vince Dooley is talking to Dale Strom about. Pack them up.
2nd down, 5 from the 42-yard line. The play fake and Ford sprinting out again. He's just going to tuck it and run it. Get nowhere. Brett Collins makes the stop for Georgia. Ford has quick feet for a quarterback in terms of being able to get out of the pocket and sprint out, and etc. But he's certainly far short of being the kind of runner that a quarterback, say, like Eric Jones at Vanderbilt would be.
Exactly. And, you know, and Glenn is a good athlete, but that just goes to show you when he's running, he looks like he's running in slow motion compared to these other guys, Rawls and Worley or Ivy Joe Hunter or Rodney Hampton.
3rd down, 5 from the 42-yard line of the Wildcats. Ford under pressure. Tarnitz nails him. The ball is loose. The indication is it belongs still to Kentucky. The signal has been made that it's Kentucky's ball. They'll have to punt it away again. And Jay Tesser goes into punt. Kentucky's punting woes continue. Tesser with a 27-yarder last time.
Tarnitz working against the right side. And I believe it's against Bo Smith. And he comes around and hits Ford before Ford can unload the ball. They need to get Bo Smith some help over there.
Georgia with an 8-man rush. Tesser gets it away pretty good, kicks it into the wind. Carswell with the fair catch at the 35-yard line of Georgia. That was a 32-yard punt. And a penalty marker is down. It looked like that perhaps Albert Burks may have run into that 2-yard circle there. Let's see what the call is.
That is the call, and but it did come a little late. I think the Georgia sideline reminded the official.
That's interference with the fair catch. It's a 5-yard penalty. Moves it out to the 40.
And you know I don't like that rule. You know, it's either, look, if you can call a fair catch, call a fair catch. If you're going to catch the football, then you ought to be fair game. It ought to be one way or another. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
Pontiac excitement. Here's 3 reasons to drive Pontiac excitement now. Pontiac Savings, 89 Grand Am LE, $194 a month. Pontiac Savings, Grand Prix, $234 a month. Pontiac Savings, Bonneville, $255 a month. Hurry, you have 3 reasons to drive Pontiac excitement now, but only 1 chance to save. See the Pontiac Pros of Kentuckiana. Cross, Green Tree, Brinkhouse, Browning, Hardin Motors, Sam Swope.
Since 1943, the Lang Company has been copy headquarters for Kentucky and southern Indiana. It still is.
You'd think a duplexing copier with the widest zoom range for its price. One with a sorter and document feeder would have to be pretty big. Think again. The Minolta 415Z.
For all your copy needs, the Lang Company in Louisville, Owensboro, Evansville, and Bowling Green.
Mark Young checking at the line. Handoff, Sean Sykes, touchdown, Rebels! With their backs against the wall, Ole Miss turned their season around with a gutsy 22-12 upset of Alabama 2 weeks ago. They'll have to carry that fire into Baton Rouge next Saturday, where arch-rival LSU awaits in a key SEC matchup. Ole Miss and LSU next week on TBS. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central.
Phil's Oyster Bar. Gus, get them ready. We're on the way.
We're hungry. 1st and 10 from the 40. Worley picking his way and then just laying a shoulder into Massey. We're going to Atlanta. Craig Sager and a college football update.
Thank you, Bob. Florida State took a 7-0 lead. A retreating touchdown, not at all. A field goal and 2 safeties. This one after Howard Denkins blocks the punt by Louisiana Tech. Florida State now on top 21-0, but 7-0 on a field goal and 2 safeties?
A field goal and 2 safeties? Asked Craig Sager. Yes, if it's Florida State. Yes, if it's Bobby Bowden's team. Worley. Nice cutback for the first down to the 47-yard line of Kentucky. Worley now up to 77 yards on the day on 13 carries. Came into this game with 761 yards on the season and 11 touchdowns. He scored a touchdown and is apparently on his way to another 100-yard day.
And what a load he is. Can accelerate like a small back. It can run you over like a monster.
1st and 10 from the 47-yard line of Kentucky, and they've got Worley spread out in a passing formation, and they're going deep to it. Incomplete. It was Ron Robinson trying to cover him. They had Worley spread out there, and he just sprinted down the sideline. Couldn't connect, however.
Let's watch Worley here. They're trying to get a mismatch defensively. Of course, Worley can fly, and Ron Robinson in the secondary, good speed, but watch Worley run by him. Robinson's got a man-for-man, well-thrown ball by Wayne Johnson. This comes in over the outside shoulder. The wide receiver probably would have hauled that in. Tim short-armed it a little bit, but he's thrown touchdown passes, runs for him.
Henderson to the 40-yard line. Tim Worley breathing hard as he goes off. He says, normally when I run that distance, I have the ball under my arm.
What a back he is. And this is Georgia football. You know, people at Georgia complained about this a little bit. You know, this isn't really much exciting. You know, run 3 yards, run 4 yards, run 20 yards. But this is how you win football games. And right now, they're the lead dog in the SEC pack.
Georgia undefeated on the season, leading here 10-7, 6:19 to go, 3rd quarter, 3rd down 3. Henderson does not get there. Donnie Gardner with the tackle. It was close to the 1st down, but he did not make it. Georgia apparently having to punt the ball away. They are going to give it up at the 37-yard line of Kentucky.
This is always gimmick territory for a defense.
Kentucky smelling the same thing. They're a little nervous about this. Hester, the punter, of course, a former quarterback. There's Tolbert standing at about his own 12-yard line. Hester does punt it. He's just going to nail it into the end zone. 5:34 to go, third quarter. Georgia leading it by 3. Kentucky will take over first down 10 from their own 20-yard line after the 38-yard punt by Joey Hester.
Announcing the Holiday Inn Make the Super Call game. Come to Holiday Inn, get a game card. Now, Super Bowl 18. 4 minutes to go. Raiders face a 4th and goal. You call it. Scratch off the right play, and you win. Thousands of prizes, even a trip to the Super Bowl. Everybody's getting into it.
Only at America's favorite hotel. For reservations, make the Super Call.
Somewhere, right now, there's a clean, crisp, ice cold, Beechwood aged Budweiser with your name on it.
Kentucky has changed quarterbacks. Junior Chuck Broughton, number 14, is in. He's 6'4". He's played in 5 of the 6 games as a backup to 4. Has completed 21 of 40 passes for 213 yards and thrown 1 interception. And after this play, Tim Foley, the question you raised, I raise. Why the change? Broughton. There's one reason. He came out throwing the ball very well. It's complete to 85 Neil Clark to the 43-yard line, a gain of 22, but I thought 4 was throwing it relatively well also, and 4 has the quicker feet of the two. Broughton much more the drop-back passer.
I guess they feel like they're going with the play action, Bob. That's going to hold the rush a little bit, neutralize the rush a little bit. They're rolling out strong side, weak side, and since they're not just sitting in the pocket, maybe they feel like they don't need that quickness in quarterback, and this guy can get them in the right play.
More heady of the two quarterbacks, even though maybe less physically talented. Baker showing some strength, getting a yard or two where there was none. There's Glenn Four. Four sits down, going 11 for 17 with 147 yards and 2 interceptions on the afternoon.
Glenn Four's performance is going to oscillate. He can come up with the real big play, and then he makes the big mistake. Broughton is more middle of the road. He's never going to do anything great for you, but he isn't going to hurt you. And it's also good for a quarterback if he's thrown an interception, fumble the ball, get out of there a little bit, get your head together before you get back in.
Broughton deep drop. Now he's under pressure. Throwing on the run. Incomplete. Intended for Charlie Darrington, the tight end. Broughton showing some reasonably quick feet there. Wycliffe Lovelace was all over it. He was highly motivated.
Right, have you ever met a man named Wycliffe, Chuck? Here I come, ready or not. Of course, Wycliffe Lovelace, a 4-year player for Georgia. When we first heard of Wycliffe, he was a tight end. He and Troy Sadowski were fighting it out over there, and now, as you see Jerry Claiborne's reaction to that play.
And Darrington had the chance for the catch, but couldn't hold on to it. 3rd down 7 now from the 44. In the pocket, has time. It's complete. Close to the first down. It was Mike Knox who made the grab, but I think it'll be shy of the first down. They may have to bring the sticks in from the far sideline.
That was a tough call, hard for the official to see. He was walled off. Let's take a look at this Broughton. Great protection. And what they did is they kept Baker in to go to work on targets. And looks like a nice, well, who knows?
Short
close enough to call good, but still short of the first down.
And they'll punt. Tesser comes in again. Wobbly punt. Carswell's just going to let it bounce. It was scooped up at, that looked like Alfredo Griffin there. It was Chris Tolbert who picked it up. 25-yard punt. Once again, not a good job punting the ball by Kentucky. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
happening at the Bojangles. Always something happening at the Cajun chicken, spice so wild. Southern style, it tastes so mild. So when you want chicken, you know where to go. Get it wild and mild. Both at the Bo. There's always something happening at the Bojangles. There's always something happening at the Bo.
Stop by today for Bojangles Tailgate Special. A 12-piece chicken box with a biscuit for $9.99.
The dreams of a child. Pure. Simple. At Hannon Oldsmobile, we believe that dreams can come true, but it's not always easy. It takes hard work, determination, and lots of practice. Hannon Oldsmobile understands the basic dreams and desires in us all. That's why we offer the finest automobiles at reasonable prices and hassle-free service, pure and simple. Please spend time with children. For today's daydreamer, maybe the future's dream come true.
76. Wayne Johnson, plenty of time, has Marshall wide open. That'll add to that total yardage mark down to the 41-yard line of the Wildcats. A gain of 36 yards on the pass play to Arthur Marshall.
Bob, if you remember correctly, they ran this play in the first half. Marshall dropped the ball, but again, he's wide open. Thomas runs out the cornerback. They found a weak spot in that seam there. Finally, Sellers gets there to make the play. Dortch was up in the flat with the back.
Henderson, the fullback, about 5 or 6 to the 35-yard line. Donnie Gardner with the stop. Georgia starting to move the ball now more easily as they did on their previous drive for the on the drive for the touchdown. 7-yard gain by Henderson that time. Henderson's got 56 yards and 13 carries. He has equal carries with Worley. Worley has 13 and 77 yards. Second down, about, call it a long 3 from the 34-yard line. This is Rodney Hampton, close to the first down. Hampton with the sore shoulder, rotator cuff injury.
A nice job by Mike Miners fighting his way through the block of Scott Adams. You mentioned Scott Adams, number 75, playing the right guard today for Lamont Tellis. Usually starts out there at left tackle, but they've moved Adams inside to guard, the senior from Lake City, Florida, and they got Will Carley playing out there at the left tackle position.
Penalty marker and a walk-off against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Offense, second down.
There's the call by Rom Gilbert, the official, so that'll move it back to the 44-yard line, where it will be second down again. Well, Vanderbilt out in front of Ole Miss early, 6-0. That's Vanderbilt homecoming. That's a good ball game, a hard one to call up there. Ole Miss rejuvenated. Vanderbilt beat Florida last week, as you may have seen on our TBS Sports telecast. Johnson going to the air again. Has a man opening, and it's Worley. He's stopped about 4 yards short of the first down, near the 35. Holloran with the tackle. It'll be third down and less than 5.
Johnson looks good in the pocket. When he drops back and sits there, he looks confident. But unless he has a man wide open, he's going to tuck that ball and go. He likes to run the football, feels confident running the ball, and has thrown into some traffic a few times and created some heat for himself. But Wayne Johnson has proved to be an effective leader for this Georgia offense.
A senior from Columbus, Johnson 6'4". It's third down 5. And they go to Worley, the money man. Does he break the tackle? Yes, but he does not get the first down. Kentucky pursued well. Doug Hauser, 99, will get credit for the tackle. Georgia is short of the first down. They may try a long field goal here.
Shelley Anderson leading through the hole. Henderson trying to pop it to the outside. Donnie Gardner's trying to hang on, but he runs through that tackle. Kentucky defense swarms to bring down Tim Worley.
We're going to get a 50-yard field goal attempt here by John Casey, the sophomore from Athens. His longest on the year is 47. You see what he's done today. Missed a 43 and made a 20.
Got a strong wind behind him. I'm sorry, Bob.
He does. Joey Hester held it. He hit it hard, but missed it badly to the right. And Georgia continues to lead 10-7 with only 1 minute remaining in the quarter. Casey just did not hit that ball well. And and Kentucky will take over on downs. They have pretty good field position at their 34.
Georgia offense looking well. Looks like it's functioning on all cylinders. We haven't seen Talley today.
I was going to bring that up myself when you were talking about the confidence being shown by Wayne Johnson. This is my own personal opinion, but sometimes I have to wonder when you swap quarterbacks like Talley and Johnson, and they have different styles, if that doesn't throw a little monkey wrench in your offense sometimes. So Dooley may be selecting to stay with consistency of Johnson today. Broughton, it's picked off by Beasley. And he's down at the 42-yard line. That's the 4th interception by Georgia. Only 3 will count because one of them was dropped. But that's the 4th ball that's thrown right into the arms of a Georgia defensive back. 19-yard return by Beasley. His 3rd interception of the year.
Nice catch here by Rusty Beasley. They're trying to get the tight end down the middle. But whenever you have the free safety sitting in the middle of the field, you saw Beasley react to that ball in the air. You just can't float it down the middle like that. Beasley heading toward the sideline. Good job, Rusty.
Now Georgia back, fumble! Kentucky ball at the 46-yard line of the Wildcats. Chris Chenault fell on it, number 45. It's you take it, I got it.
Never fails as soon as you say something good, right? Wayne Johnson has trouble getting the ball from center. Massey going after it, Chenault there. 2 big play defenders for Kentucky.
This isn't all that different from that Auburn game we saw Kentucky in the first one of the year. Rawls dives forward inside Georgia territory. Remember that Auburn game about this point of the game, Tim, about a 5 or 6 minute period. We had turnover, turnover, turnover.
Exactly, and Auburn looked like they were gaining control, just kind of pulling away, easing out from Kentucky. Looked like they'd, kind of run by the hitchhiker, and all of a sudden they got somebody hot in their tail. Vince Dooley knows that this Kentucky team is far from dead.
2nd down, 4 from the 48. This will be the last play, probably, of this quarter. Rawls, first down, he's open. Who will catch him? Nobody! Touchdown, Wildcats! The junior college transfer from Pitts, Georgia, who was recruited by the Bulldogs, was a Proposition 48 student, then did not go to the Bulldogs because of their depth of talent at the tailback position, came to Kentucky, said he wanted to make a statement. He was not bitter, but he certainly wanted to show Georgia what they missed today, and he has made 2 key plays, that one a 48-yard touchdown run. It hit the post, no good. Ken Willis hit the post, and Kentucky leads 13-10, a very big point after miss. As you can deduce mathematically, that was the last play of the 3rd quarter. Kentucky has taken the lead. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
Autumn at Keeneland is so special on a weekday afternoon. Enjoy Burgoo beside the paddock and watch magnificent thoroughbreds in action every afternoon this week, Tuesday through Saturday. Post time, 1 p.m. 9 races daily. Pick 6 wagering at Keeneland through October 29th.
There's a spa that's made for every part of you. A hot spring portable spa made to massage your feet, your legs, and made to soothe your back. With an automatic back rub like no other spa. And Hot Spring is the most reliable name in spas, which will ease another part of you, your mind. So before you buy a spa, test a Hot Spring spa.
Available at Bear Spa and Saunas, your exclusive Hot Spring spa dealer in Louisville, Lexington, Bowling Green, and Somerset.
Let's watch it here. A 48-yard run by Rawls. Murray leads in there, a good block, and then bang! Rawls takes it upfield, scoots through Brent Collins, and pirouetted Vince Guthrie, and then he was off to the races. Tardet's on his trail. Carswell tries to dive. Futile. Touchdown for Rawls. You think this guy's excited? We need some music. We need some music down there, boys.
Rawls runs a 4.48 40-yard dash. You saw none of those Georgia defensive backs or linebackers could catch it. Willis, who had hit the post on the point after to make it 13-10, puts this one into the end zone. And there's Rawls on the day, 96 yards. He's averaging 13.8. And he has Kentucky's only 100-yard rushing game of the year. And that was in our televised game versus Alabama. In that game, Rawls was the TBS player of the game with 132 yards. First down 10, Georgia, trailing again, 13-10. First play of the fourth quarter. Wayne Johnson under pressure, he's down. Massey, number 6, with his second sack of the year.
I'll tell you what, Tony Massey ought to be all SEC. He's constantly there with the big play. They come back, Bob, with the same play they hit on their first play of the last drive for 36 yards, but this time Kentucky is coming. Tolbert went with Marshall. He was not open, and even if he was open, Wayne Johnson had no time to look downfield.
Georgia now lining up inside the 5-yard line on a second down 24 from the Georgia 6. Johnson to throw out of his end zone. He's under pressure there. He runs loose. There's Barnett after him, and he throws him down at the 3. Number 36 you saw in your picture was Jay Dortch. There's Oliver Barnett, the big guy leader for the Kentucky defense.
This is very un-Bulldog-like. Usually you're going to see from them on second and third and long in this part of the field, they're going to run a draw. You can bet on it. This time, Johnson drops the throw, has to scurry out of his own end zone to save from surrendering 2 more points.
3rd and 26, now back to the 4. The backs are in the end zone. Worley tries the outside. He was hit out of bounds. They say the contact had been made inbounds, though. The Kentucky player is still down.
That's Sellers.
Mark Sellers, and Ron Robinson, the starting free safety, is also playing slightly injured today. Sellers the backup at free safety.
Massey hit Worley earlier in the second half, and we went away for a commercial, but for the next 30 seconds, Massey was rolling his head around, trying to get his eyeballs to focus. Worley is a load.
Worley was chased out of bounds there, short of the first down. So Georgia will have to punt.
You're used to when you have a back cornered on the sideline like this. Well, everybody was out of bounds there, but when you have a back, you can see right now he's hearing that little motor in the back of his head, like, whirr, and all of a sudden you're back in 5th grade. How did I get here?
Kentucky fans coming to life in this second half. In the Alabama game we telecast here, as Alabama came from behind at that 17-0 halftime deficit, the fans were very quiet, and as you pointed out, Tim, almost waiting for Kentucky to lose the game. The enthusiasm growing, however, here on this day. They're still looking at Sellers on the sideline, but play is back underway again, and Hester will punt out of his own end zone on 4th down 21. And he hits a beauty. It's actually not. It really lost its momentum. Takes a little bit of a Georgia bounce, though, and rolls out here to the 44-yard line. A punt of 35 yards. So Hester, punting against the wind, didn't get much on it. Kentucky with decent field position, and 13-14 remaining in the game.
will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob.
You want to move one scout leader, 6 tenderfoot scouts, over a ton of trailer, and you want to be happy doing it. Hey, if it's important to you, it's important to Plymouth. It's the new Plymouth Voyager, with plenty of room, power, and highest customer satisfaction of American minivans, backed by 770 protection. The front-wheel drive Plymouth Voyager proves, yet again, the 9 most important words Plymouth knows. Satisfy the customer. Satisfy the customer. Satisfy the customer.
Brought to you by Budweiser. Be twin age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Plymouth, and the 9 most important words Plymouth knows. Mark Sellers is better. I won't call him okay yet. He did come off the field himself. He's the free safety who's taken up for Kentucky, the senior from Louisville.
So he's asking what round it is. He's okay. He popped back up. He'll be all right. His eyes will clear.
This is the second best starting field position of the day for Kentucky. Here's Rawls again. He had the 48-yard touchdown run, and that'll take him close to 100 yards. 104 yards on the day for Alfred Rawls.
And he can fly. He can get to the outside in a hurry. He's got that move upfield. Wilkes pulling a nice job of blocking by Andy Murray. Hey, Bob, Andy Murray has had 57 knockdown blocks this year. 57 times, got people on the ground.
Second down 3 from the 36. Rawls again, driving, but not getting the first down. The Georgia defense stacked them up. Wycliffe Lovelace, Bill Goldberg combining on the play. Forward progress took Rawls right to the 35-yard line, so it'll be third down. As Al Baker goes into the game. Baker, the bigger of the backs in terms of strength, weight.
Old Goldberg, 107 tackles last year, and that's the most that any interior lineman had ever had for Georgia.
Gover is going to pull up and throw it. Doesn't see it, now he's running it. First down, Gover, and more. Gover to the 14. They handed it to the flanker, the senior from Dayton. He pulled up as if to throw it, saw nothing, tucked it, and ran to the 14-yard line, a gain of 21 yards.
This looked a little funky developing. He pulled that ball up right away. Broughton going back to the weak side. Darrington downfield. A good job of coverage by Beasley. Nothing there. And here goes Ray Gover.
Kentucky leading 13-10 with 11.5 minutes to go in the game and threatening again. Ivy Joe Hunter pops it outside. Big play by Rusty Beasley. Ivy Joe Hunter had his eyes spotted on that corner post of the end zone, but Beasley came up to cut him down. Georgia's Vince Dooley's got to be saying, hold it. It was all right that it was close at halftime. It wasn't even so bad that it was close at the third quarter, but trailing by 3 with 11 to go and Kentucky driving ain't so good.
Right, and his feeling is this is our quarter. Don't they know this is our quarter?
On the second down 8, Broughton rolling to throw. Has Gover in the end zone. There he is. He catches it out of the end zone. Broughton released it too late. Gover was there behind the defenders.
Actually trying to get Randy Murray underneath. Gover running him off. Darrington running off the Georgia defenders, trying to get Andy Murray in the flat. But a good job of coverage by the Georgia secondary.
Once again, that missed point after touchdown could raise its head here in terms of the mathematics of this game, because there's Mike Pfeiffer on the sideline, because a field goal, should Kentucky have to settle for one here, would make it 16-10, and obviously Georgia with an opportunity to get a touchdown and a point after and take the lead. Both teams identical in rushing yardage today. Each team has rushed for 164 yards. This is 3rd and 8 from the 12. Broughton under some pressure. Has to throw it away. Good quarterback pressure by 58 Hiawatha Berry for Georgia, and the field goal unit does have to go in for Kentucky. Be about a 29. Let's check it. It's the ball is spotted at the 12. About a 29 or 30 yard field goal attempt by Ken Willis, who is 7 of 11 on the year. And kicked very well against LSU last week, but remember, missed the point after on Kentucky's previous touchdown. Hits this one well. It's good. Kentucky has taken a 16-10 lead with 10:49 remaining in this game. A 29-yard field goal by Ken Willis. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
If you're the victim of poor produce, there's good news from America's Supermarket. Winn-Dixie's around-the-clock effort brings quality and variety from every corner of our land. Harvest fresh produce rushed to you without delay. So remember, nature makes the produce, Winn-Dixie makes the difference.
Luxury vehicles, see how they run. Hey, Mr. Tappleman, sell me a Volvo. Swedish cars are a whole lot of fun. Hey, Mr. Tappleman, sell me a Volvo. Durability second to none. Volvo, Volvo. The fun side of Swedish engineering at Tappel Motors. Volvo.
We'll scare you silly with a new monster every week on Monsters.
Premieres tonight at 12:30 on TV 41.
The 29-yard field goal gives Kentucky the 16-10 lead with 10:42 remaining in this ball game. There's Four and Broughton, Kentucky's two quarterbacks. Broughton is 2 for 6, 29 yards, 1 interception. Four had thrown for 147 yards and had thrown 2 interceptions. Willis driving it into the end zone, and Henderson will down it there. It's 10 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in this ballgame. We've got a beauty here at Lexington. A couple of the all-time great coaches in this game.
Jerry Claiborne, 5th on the winning list in terms of active coaches. Vince Dooley, 3rd on that list. Two fine men have developed great programs. Of course, Dooley, 25 years at Georgia. Jerry Claiborne returning to his alma mater.
Georgia with plenty of time, trailing by 6. They can stay to their ground game should they choose, and they do. Worley spinning to the 26-yard line. Worley now with 90 yards on the day and 16 carries.
But when you hit Tim Worley, you better wrap him up. Try not to take him on high, take him on low, but wrap him up. You just can't slice him off his feet like you can most backs. He's just got too much weight down there, too much power in his legs. He'll run right through that, bounce off, and go for 80.
Second down 3 from the 27. Marshall in motion. Worley again. After a short gain by Oliver Barnett and a host of Kentucky players. I got to kick. An anonymous defensive back once said of Worley, tackling him is like being hit by a 100-car freight train loaded with cinder blocks.
Well, he knocked Sellers out, and he knocked Massey dizzy. It took him a couple of plays to recover, and I'm sure that there are other people around the SEC and the country that can attest to that man's power.
Third down 2. It's Worley, Henderson, and Ellis in the backfield for Georgia with double tight ends. Worley close to the first down. I think they're going to say that he got it. 82 is John Bolden. He was injured in the game. You may recall earlier was warming up to come back in and pulled a hamstring. So that's why you see number 82, one of the key offensive players for the Kentucky Wildcats, on the sideline with crutches. Pulled hamstring as he warmed up to return to action. Georgia got the first down out to the 30-yard line. Worley again. Ball came loose, but the officials are signaling it continues to belong to Georgia. 8:45 to go in the game. Clock running. Kentucky leading 16-10. Both teams have their 3 timeouts remaining. should it get down to that, and I'm sure it will with a game this close. Hampton and Henderson in the backfield for Georgia now. Thomas and Marshall, the split receivers. Second down, 5. Short drop, quick toss. Incomplete. Intended for Arthur Marshall. That was a 30-06 rifle shot. That ball got there about 85 miles an hour.
He can zing it. Kind of a deep hitch route, just enough to get the first down. That's what they were looking for.
Third down, 5. Fans on their feet here at Commonwealth cheering this Kentucky defense. Here's the delay to Henderson. He does not get but about a yard. The Kentucky defense playing tough in the fourth quarter, where they have frankly faded in some of the previous games.
Well, you know, Bob, the defense hasn't faded so much as the offense turned the ball over, the special teams fell apart. Against Alabama, Alabama came back and they gave up a couple of big plays against Alabama, but all season long they've played tough.
Fourth down, punt by Esther. It's a good one off. Tolbert is going to take it at his 25. Nowhere to go. He is swallowed up by white jerseys. First man down there for Georgia, number 37, Brian Cleveland. Also down there, Mike Guthrie. 39-yard punt, a loss of 2 on the return.
The Clydesdales, the symbol of Budweiser quality, of beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
We're not a company.
But outstanding people come to us every day.
People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts.
People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual.
People who become your friends for life. People just like you.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
We're the armed forces.
It's a great place to start.
7:38 remaining in this game. Kentucky with a 6-point lead over undefeated in the SEC, Georgia Bulldogs. Bulldogs 4-0 coming into this game. Kentucky winless in the Southeastern Conference. Playing tough on all phases of the games here today. A gain of about 5 out to the 28-yard line by Ivy Joe Hunter. Brett Collins with his 7th tackle in the afternoon for the Bulldogs. Collins, that junior from Newmarket, Tennessee, who's the team leader in tackles.
Both good athletes on the inside for Georgia on defense. Brent Collins, Terry Webster, as Chuck Broughton sticks his head into the huddle.
80 Logan and 3 Jones split wide for the Wildcats on second down 5. They hand it to Ivy Joe Hunter. He gets the first down to the 35-yard line. Terry Webster with the stop. And the Kentucky running game has been getting better and better all year long. Kentucky has to go to that run-and-shoot passing game. They were relying on it more and more, but now the balance is here, and Kentucky has rushed for 176 yards today. With a lot of different backs carrying the ball. Hunter, Rawls, Baker. Rolling them in and out of there. They're all 3 talented runners. Now Rawls is in there with Andy Murray, the fullback. 240 pounds of fullback, which has a lot to do with those tailbacks and their success. Rawls stutter steps for only a yard or so. Loveless with the tackle.
Talked to Bill Lewis before the game, Bob, and he said after the South Carolina game, there seemed to be some confusion in the secondary, and they just decided to simplify things. They didn't want any more mental mistakes. They wanted their players to play more aggressively, and he felt like that maybe they were a little confused, and just simplify, and here's your assignment, now go get it. Let's play football. Let's chase them down.
Second down 8, Wildcats from the 36, clock down to 6 minutes. Broughton on the sprint out. He's throwing on the run. Almost picked off, penalty marker down, Beasley. was the man going for the ball. Pass was intended for Darrington, but a yellow flag fell at the point of the contact. It's against Georgia.
Let's watch Ray Gover. You can hear against Smith. Beasley reading the ball being thrown into Darrington. Beasley getting there just a little early. Contact in the back. Interference by Rusty Beasley. Good play on the ball.
First down at the 46-yard line. Kentucky running the clock with a 6-point lead. Wildcats have only 5:53 remaining to hold on. The Bulldogs have won 10 straight games against Kentucky. This is Al Baker, only a couple, out near midfield. Kentucky is getting some field position established here, though, making, unless they turn the ball over, forcing Georgia to have to go a long way, even if Kentucky does not get any points on the board. Field goal here could really make it tough and obviously get it above that 8-point margin if Kentucky can drive down close enough for a Ken Willis try. What a conference race in the SEC this year. Georgia the only undefeated team, and they're being threatened today. Alabama, Florida, LSU, Auburn all with one loss. Here's Baker. Breaking tackles. Gets a tough 4 yards to the 49-yard line of Georgia, bringing up a big third down conversion situation.
And Baker is running with much more intensity than we have seen from that young man in the past.
Seems to get better every time we see him.
Yes. Now, Kentucky coming into this game has only been 33% on third down. That's not real good. Bill Lewis looking on anxiously, has his call into his defense.
Jones to the right side, Logan to the left, fans on their feet here at Commonwealth. Broughton has some time, now pressure, can't find anybody. Down he goes. Loses about 3 or 4. Good time for Broughton to throw it, but he had no one to throw it to.
Bob looking for Alfred Jones on the sideline here. Jones had fallen down as he went to make his break. Started slow getting up, now limping back to the huddle. Big play for the Georgia defense. Ben Smith, man-to-man, back here on Jones. Did a fine job. The Georgia rush took over. Hardit's being helped off the field.
Here's Tesser. He's only averaging 32.3 yards a punt. Has the wind to his back, and this shaky Kentucky punting game with an opportunity here to put Georgia back deep inside the 20. Let's see how it does. The punting game cost Kentucky the game against LSU last week. That was Jeff Nelson punting. Tesser replaced him for this game. Long count, hoping to draw Georgia offsides. They're not having any part of that. Probably just tick this thing down and let the clock run out. Let's see. 5 seconds remaining on the game clock, and they're letting the clock run down to 3:51 before they snap it. And a cannon shot that's into the end zone by Tesser. He was wind-aided, but that means Georgia will start at their own 20. A punt of 53 yards by Tesser with 3:43 remaining in the game. You're watching the SEC on TBS Sports.
When you feel pain, your body is telling you something, and you'd better listen, because your body is really saying, I need relief. More and more people are finding relief at United Chiropractic for the best of reasons. Caring doctors, very convenient locations, the fact that we're very professional, the fact that we accept most major coverages. Then there's the best reason of all. United Chiropractic. We've got relief down to a science.
We are nearing completion of my greatest work, the President's Home. Today, I discovered they will call it White House. I am utterly shocked at the name's lack of imagination.
When something's really special, you don't need a special name. So, at Hardee's, we call our burger the Big Deluxe. Thicker, juicier, more burger to win you over.
I trust they will find a more suitable name for his oval-shaped office.
The Big Deluxe. More burger, less name.
Yeah.
Georgia has changed quarterbacks also. Out goes senior Wayne Johnson. In comes redshirt freshman Greg Talley, 6'1" from Valdosta. He's thrown for 2 touchdown passes this year, 3 interceptions. pressure on Talley. Down he goes. Number 99, Doug Hauser. His first sack of the year from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Wayne Johnson, who I thought was playing quite well, just watches helplessly on the sideline.
And look at Doug Hauser. This isn't fancy. This is just right over the top on Will Colley. You remember now, Colley is playing tackle, replacing Scott Adams.
Second down, 15. And they're on their feet at Commonwealth Stadium. It's been 10 years since Kentucky has defeated Georgia.
Talley brought this Georgia team back against Mississippi State in the waning moments of that football game, but he had played previously in the game.
On third down, 15, Talley under pressure again. This is Hauser chasing him. And he just dumps it out here, probably wisely overthrew it, because had it been caught by Henderson, he would have been nailed by Randy Halloran. And this Kentucky defense stops Georgia with the new Georgia quarterback. Well, you just got to wonder about the quarterback change there on the part of Georgia. Although obviously Vince Dooley and his offensive folks know why they make the changes, sometimes not known to us, but you got to wonder about Wayne Johnson. He was playing very well.
People will ask him about that one, although, as you mentioned, he's 21-3 against Kentucky. He's been doing things right for a long time.
Exactly. Not a very good punt by Hester that time into the wind. It bounces out of bounds at the 41-yard line. That was only a 26-yard punt by Joey Hester. Stiff breeze in his face. 2:25 to go in the game. Kentucky gaining control, leading by 6.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
You want to move one scout leader, 6 tenderfoot scouts, over a ton of trailer, and you want to be happy doing it. Hey, if it's important to you, it's important to Plymouth. It's the new Plymouth Voyager, with plenty of room, power, and highest customer satisfaction of American minivans, backed by 770 protection. The front-wheel drive Plymouth Voyager proves, yet again, the 9 most important words Plymouth knows. Satisfy the customer. Satisfy the customer. Satisfy the customer.
Jerry Claiborne pulled his entire offensive unit to the sideline to talk to them. 2:25 remaining. Kentucky up by 6. And it's been since 1965 since Kentucky beat Georgia here in Lexington.
And he's telling them, we've been close before, boys. This is our game now. And they've got to get them to project into a victory. Even though there's only 2:25 left to go, Kentucky has found unique and innovative ways to lose in the past.
Alfred Rawls pops off the side, down the sideline, out of bounds for about 8 yards. Rusty Beasley gets him close to the first down marker. Gain of about 8 to 10 yards, depending on where they say he went out of bounds.
One of the people he talked to about holding onto the football was Alfred Rawls. Rawls coughed it up against Alabama. Alabama took advantage of that turnover to pull within striking distance of Kentucky, and big run. Jerry has seen so many wins slip away from him over the last couple of years here at Kentucky. Concerned about it as he stands next to his longtime friend and assistant coach Dick Redding.
They're going to have to measure this, bringing the sticks all the way from the far side of the field. Clock down to 2:18. This SEC race is incredible. If Georgia cannot come back and win this game, they'll fall to 4-1. Alabama with 1 loss. They're playing Penn State today. Florida off this week. They're 3-1. LSU 3-1, and LSU also resting this week. There are those standings. Look at Auburn, 2-1. Auburn's hosting Mississippi State this week. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss are playing, but they both, Ole Miss with 2 losses, as does Vanderbilt. And we said all along, Tim, that it's easy to conceive of a tie for the conference championship this year, simply because they've gone to the 7-game rotation and they're beating each other.
And they're not only beating each other on the scoreboard, they're beating each other up, which tends to thin out the talent and equal the crop later on in the season.
It's the first time in a long time this late in the season that no SEC team is ranked in the top 10, and one of the reasons is they are beating each other. Second down and less than 1. Rawls gets the first down for Kentucky inside the Georgia 30. Clock ticking down to 2:12 and counting. Georgia has 2 timeouts left. Kentucky 0-3 in the SEC. And Georgia has called timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining now. The clock stopped at 2:12. Now that's a slightly strange time for a timeout, Tim, in my view, in that the clock was stopped on the first down as it turned out anyway.
Clock was stopped on the first down, but it starts right away. They whistle it in, and so they're going to run off 25 seconds if they hadn't called timeout. I'm the type of person that wants to have those timeouts later. I think that, you know, they can always come into play later on, and I want to make sure that they don't get another first down before I spend one. And of course, Vince Dooley's been in this game a long time and makes the right decisions most of the time. One thing you want to tell your backs in terms of Kentucky is, Alfred Rawls, you put both arms around that football now. Don't hang it out there in one arm. Georgia's going to be trying to knock the ball loose.
Georgia came into this game averaging 424 yards a game. They are 200 yards short of that today. The vaunted running game, Worley, not over 100 today. He has 99 yards. Rawls, he's been the running star. About 9 yards for Rawls. Rawls now with 126 yards on the day, including the 48-yard touchdown run. Clock down to 157, 156 and counting. Richard Tarditz, who was shaken up and taken off the field earlier for Georgia, is injured again and now being aided off the field by the Georgia trainers, holding that left leg gingerly, as you see him not put any pressure on the left knee. Let's hope he's all right. Georgia's great sack leader. Well, whatever Jerry Claiborne said to his offensive unit when they went on the field this time about keeping the ball and maintaining the first downs, they're doing it.
Jerry Eisman, in talking to him before the game, said that after the LSU game, he'd never seen an emotional response to a loss like he saw after that game. Players crying in front of their locker room saying, we're going to beat Georgia next week. We deserve to win this week, but we're going to take it to Georgia next week.
Take it to Georgia they have. Rawls bounces off a tackle in the backfield and gets it up close to the first down marker. I do not think he made it. Clock down to 126, 125 and counting, and they'll stop it at 126. As Georgia calls, as we have it, their last timeout. Georgia is now out of timeouts, trailing 16-10. The Bulldogs will go home next week to play William & Mary at homecoming. Kentucky will play Southern Illinois University here at Lexington, and then the Wildcats have Vanderbilt here, Florida here, and then Tennessee at Knoxville the rest of the way. With Vanderbilt, it's hard to tell. Vanderbilt and Kentucky pretty even teams at this point in my view. Florida injury-ridden. Certainly Kentucky has a shot there, and Tennessee winless on the season so far. Georgia will play Florida on the 5th at Jacksonville, Auburn at Auburn on the 12th, and then finish up with Georgia Tech.
Tough schedule left for Georgia. Florida reeling from injuries, trying to get their offensive act back together. But when Georgia plays Florida, there's no telling what can happen.
Well, the Kentucky fans who braved the nippy temperatures here today are happy they're here at Commonwealth Stadium. Wildcats leading by 6 with 1:26 to go. Georgia out of timeouts.
First down here, and it's over. Get 2 shots at it. Let's get in the right formation, fellas.
3rd down 1. Rawls. First down.
That's it.
And they know it. Everybody knows it. Even Georgia must know it by now. 1965 was the last time Kentucky beat Georgia here at Lexington when the Cats prevailed 28-10, 23 years ago. Our truck very quiet and calm and poised today. The control room, our mobile control room, with our producer Rowan Backfish and our director Skip Ellison today. Georgia graduates, but they've maintained very good professional poise today. We're very proud of you, gentlemen, and we know under a difficult afternoon for you. I better not chuckle much. Clock under a minute, 53 seconds remaining in this ball game, and Jerry Claiborne is not ready for this yet. He is very upset at the delay of game call. Jerry knows that he can't count this win until it's actually been printed in the program.
See, there was a first down, so they had to stop the clock. And what Jerry is complaining about is you didn't tell our guys that you started the clock again.
On the 1st and 15, Broughton just kneels down. Back at the 30. Clock is running now. Georgia cannot stop it. It's running 45-44, as you see on the bottom right, ticking down. Tim Worley today, 99 yards, had 1 touchdown, but Kentucky's wide tackle 6, 8-man front defensive line pretty well stymied this Georgia rushing game, allowing 175 yards to the Georgia rushing game today. Henderson had 57, Worley 99. That's about it, folks, and Georgia passed today for only a total of 49 yards. That'll be the last play of the game. For the first time in 23 years, Kentucky has defeated Georgia at Lexington. It's the first Wildcat win over the Bulldogs in 10 years. And Georgia falls to 4-1 in the SEC.
Jerry doesn't even know they dumped water on him as he's running off the field. We've seen him suffer for so many years, so many games over the last several years. And good to see him win one. Congratulations, Jerry Claiborne, and offensive coordinator Jerry Eisman, defensive guy Terry Strock. They've come close several times, and there are 2 old friends, 2 old warriors in this game of football that have gone down to the wire many times. Both a lot of mutual respect there. Vince now, his Georgia team, back in the pack. Tied for the lead in the SEC. Kentucky out of the SEC race, but certainly now in the race for self-respect.
So Vince Dooley and the Bulldogs go home for homecoming against William and Mary, and then the Bulldogs have to face Florida, followed by Auburn in the Georgia quest for the SEC championship. As of this minute, it's all knotted up between 5 teams with 1 loss in the Southeastern Conference. What a race we've had this year. The extra game has definitely been a benefit for the fans. The coaches weren't too crazy about it because they knew with the depth of talent in the SEC that you could really take a knocking. Jerry Claiborne has consented to chat with us following this victory, his first against Georgia with the Kentucky Wildcats. Jerry, after all the tough games and close losses, you're feeling now with this first SEC win this year.
No question, we're just as happy as we can be. I mean, our players played hard, and they made the plays that they had to make. They were solid in their kicking game today. We didn't make the mistakes that we've been making in the past, and I tell you, they really won this game. And we're just so proud of them that they hung in there, and we didn't screw it up. And we finally won one, and we're really happy about it.
Jerry, a running back who was originally scheduled to go to Georgia, went to junior college, came here, Alfred Rawls. He had a great day for you today, including the 48-yard touchdown run. We're going to look at that videotape as you talk about the progress this young man has made since transferring here to Kentucky.
Well, when he came here to Kentucky, in the spring, he got his knee hurt and missed spring practice, biggest part of spring practice. But we knew he was something special just in the short time he practiced in the spring because he can really run with the football. And today he put on an exhibition. He really had a personal thing about this because he wanted to play well. He's playing there in Georgia. He's from Georgia, and all the people down there were going to watch him on TV. And he said he'd want to have a great game, but he had a great game.
Well, congratulations, Coach, on holding this team together. I know it gets tough after all the times you've been close this year and come up short. Is there what were you saying to your players on the sideline as you pulled them off before that last drive?
We told them that all we had to do was make one first down. One first down, and the ball game was ours, because they're going to have to use up their timeouts, and they did. They rose to the occasion, and we're just so proud of them. We're tickled to death. We finally got one to break our way. Thank you very much.
Coach, thank you for joining us on the sideline there, and congratulations on this victory over the Georgia Bulldogs today. Jerry Claiborne, the head coach at the University of Kentucky, the first win of the Wildcats over the Bulldogs in Lexington since 1965. There's the water thrown at him, but Claiborne was moving too fast to get very wet, and the first Kentucky win over Georgia, counting either location, in 10 years. Georgia goes to 4-1 in the conference, and Kentucky now comes to 1-3.
There's a new killer on America's road.